Network broadcast online on the NFHS Network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been.
For 5 years running, it's the OD in the AM with Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Well, you hit a weekend on what I've referred to for years as International Month. Wimbledon, the British Open Championship, Tour de France. And you look around, you say, all right, I got a little baseball, but you're going to get a Wimbledon semifinal today. And I say that singular for the men because after an amazingly entertaining and fun to watch quarterfinal, Rafael Nadal is pulled out as he'd been going for history with an oblique injury. He beat American Taylor Fritz in a fifth set tiebreak 2 days ago, and you can't help but sit around and wonder, gosh, I wish Fritz would have won, because I think Fritz and Kyrgios would have been a tremendous semifinal. Wimbledon? Yeah, you should take a look at it. It's really fun. Good morning to you. Merry Friday. You have made it a short week that in some respects has felt like a long one. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. How you living?
What it do?
One of our own. What is that shirt? Oh, I know what that shirt is. I don't know that I've ever seen that before. All right, you living good on a Friday?
We live at night.
All right. You got United this weekend at home. They will be in the ball pitch against Rio Grande Valley Football Club on a Saturday, tomorrow night. So you get that to go out and watch. It's I was at a gala last night. JJ, I went to the Aaron Terhickey Memorial. It was for children's cancer research, and the room was it was a huge room, and gosh, I mean, there were so many. I won't say everybody was there, but so many people were there. But I spent a little time with Danny Gonzalez last night, and he's like, he knows exactly how many days. He's like, we're gonna be in Vegas in a week and a half, for crying out loud. Like football season's basically upon us. Met Morris Udeze yesterday, and met Josiah. Jalen House was there, so we got to spend some time with some of the local basketball players that I knew Jalen House, but I hadn't met Morris and Josiah yet, and so that was actually got to talk to those guys for a little bit. That was kind of cool, but it makes me realize what's coming, and we got a lot staring at us, and what could be a really, really fun calendar or sports year over at UNM.
Yeah, it's the only thing that's for certain right now is next year. There's schedules, there's teams set, you know what you're playing for, and then you're going to go. It's calmed down a little bit. The storm from watching USC and UCLA bounce to the Big Ten, something else is going to happen because the Pac-12 has to make a move, or those teams have to make a decision at some point. But it's just the moment where you take a step back, you slow it down, you look at the road ahead, and there could be some exciting things here in the state.
Yesterday's news, and we talked about it quite a bit yesterday with Eddie Nunez when he was in studio in regards to college athletics and the realignment. There was a lot of chatter about a Pac-12, not quite merger, but an agreement with the ACC, which would somewhat make that ACC network an ACC Pac-12 network, which would one of the biggest failures for the Pac-12. Was their television network, and their former commissioner Larry Scott gets a lot of the blame for that. And it was they decided they were going to run it themselves, and they never figured distribution out on it. And remember the old Mountain, and I give the Mountain West credit for this. The Mountain West is the first league. They had the foresight on this. The Mountain West was the pioneers in regards to a league having their own television network, and whatever you thought about the distribution, the product, the content on the Mountain, JJ, I always thought was very good.
I agree. I enjoyed that station.
And I remember when the Mountain went away, the MTN, and I told you, you're going to miss the Mountain. Ah, hell no. Bleep, 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 bleep. We're going to be able to watch. Okay. Every game was available. And you watch volleyball if you like the volleyball, and if you like the tennis, and if you whatever. And the women's basketball, women's basketball coverage is taking a tremendous hit because of it, right? A tremendous hit. But the one thing early in that whole thing, I remember there was something called CSTV, College Sports Television. Gosh, I'm forgetting the gentleman, Kurt Belavacqua, I believe was his name, who started it. And then they had distribution issues, remember at the beginning? And they kind of got it figured out. Well, the Pac-12 never got their distribution issues, and they still haven't gotten it figured out. They're not on DirecTV. They're not on a lot of places. Look, I don't care who you've got. If you've got DirecTV or you've got Xfinity or you've got Dish or you've got Hulu or you do YouTube TV or whatever it is, you can find the Big Ten Network, right? You got the SEC Network, and you've got the ACC Network. And the ACC and the SEC Network are operated by ESPN. So they went to television people to do television. Imagine that. Pac-12 decided not only are they going to do theirs differently and they do theirs on their own, they're going to have, do they have like 10 or 5 different ones for each, or 6 different ones for each market, right? There was a Bay Area one and there was a Southern California one. And you look at me because you don't know and I don't know because we couldn't watch it, right? I never really watched the Pac-12 Network. And I think that was honestly the biggest failure and why the Pac-12 is where they are right now, is that television deal went so south. And so the talk yesterday was some sort of an alliance with the ACC and the Pac-12. And last I'd seen was the ACC president saying, okay, well, I'm listening. Tell me more. What does it look like? Well, and while not a merger, an alliance to somehow keep the Pac-10 as it is together. And I'm not sure if bringing on a San Diego State or another market increases the value for the ACC network. But that's where it was yesterday. That's what I was hearing is the Big 12 is still talking Arizona and the Utah and Colorado and Arizona State.
Yeah, the alliance is a word that doesn't carry much weight with what we've seen these times. And if you're the ACC, it comes down to, all right, Oregon and Washington would be the big prizes for you. If you're saying, all right, well, somehow say we'll help you out, you become like the Western Division. Because the ACC right now, they're locked into their media rights deal to like 36. Yeah,
and that's why the ACC is looking to do that. How do they add value? Because they're so deep in this.
So can they get schools that allow them to make some more money on their media rights deal? And then, again, is this an all-sports thing or is it a football-only thing? Because if you're those schools in the Pac-12, you want to survive, but then that's the trip. Like another one, you're like, we're taking this. We're going from Corvallis down to Miami.
Well, I think if it's a television alliance where you play a non-conference game every year, if you're going Corvallis to Miami once a year,
I don't think that does anything for their media-wise then.
For who? For the Pac-12?
Television alliance?
For the Pac-10? It gets them into that ACC where it's distributed by ESPN, where people can watch it, where now all of a sudden their content is available to everybody as opposed to basically no one.
They join the ACC conference.
They join the way I'm reading it, and I'm almost as confused as you. So the ACC and the Pac-12 are exploring a loose partnership, and TV rights are at the center of it, where the ACC network.
They could like fill late windows.
They'd fill late windows, but also windows throughout the week. So the ACC network, or a newly created network, which would involve the two conferences, would have exclusive rights to broadcast the Pac-12 to the West Coast households through ESPN cable providers. Right? So marquee non-conference games would be the selling point, right? So there would be non-conference games, and to your point, Oregon at Miami and Stanford at Clemson or whatever. And the idea would be it would replace the Pac-12 networks with a reliable provider. Now, does that save their league? I don't know. I mean, does Arizona and Arizona State go, oh, well, now we got to deal with the ACC network. Hell, we're staying. We're not going to the Big 12. I don't know. They're also negotiating their first-tier rights with their rights holders now. So, look, it's so wacky.
That was a little confusing for me at first.
No, I get it.
Like, they just bail you out to play
And the ACC
a
then gets more.
non-conference game.
Yeah, look, I think everybody's grasping at straws trying to figure out how to keep this thing together. All right, here's what we're gonna do today. We got NBA stuff to talk about. Summer League. JJ loves the Summer League. You had your number one pick shining in Summer League last night. The National Hockey League had their draft. There's Brittany Griner conversation to continue. Boy, that got interesting towards the end of yesterday. And we can continue to have the Brittany Griner conversation. There's talk that there were like crazy offers. Kevin Durant to Minnesota, which makes me chuckle a little bit. U.S. women's national team is now qualified for the World Cup. Not that there was a big drama there. NFL news as well. We kind of going to go all over the place on a Friday, and wherever you want to go, it's that loose time of year. Scottish Open this week, the British Open next week, Wimbledon today. So we'll go wherever you want to go. When we come back, we'll get some NFL stuff for you. Baker in Carolina, but now what? Who's the next quarterback? Where does Jimmy G end? And my guy tells me he's going to end up in San Francisco. Tell you why when we return. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. A. Marie's producing on the radio side. Good morning, Adrian. He's producing on the television side. On 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This message.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
For certified collision and body repair, visit the experts at CarCrafters. 5 locations in Albuquerque and Rio Rancho. Visit carcrafters.com.
CarCrafters, it's like it never happened.
The energy landscape is limitless and ever-changing. Cleaner energy resources are crucial to New Mexico's environment. For 100 years, PNM has utilized cutting-edge technology and employed hard-working New Mexicans to ensure that we have consistent, reliable energy when we need it. For life's loudest moments, quietest moments, and every moment in between. We're dedicated to providing you with energy now and into the future. All you have to do is dream of what to do with it next.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the Pet Supply Superstore. ClarksPets.com.
Dream Star Stucco. Stucco is the way to go. The Southwest tradition, beautiful and durable. favorite color, your favorite texture. You're gonna love it when they put it all together. Through any weather, nothing looks better. From the smooth to the rough, they really know their stuff. Nobody does stucco like Dream Style Stucco. For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
All right, so in the marginal quarterback race, as you shuffle marginal quarterbacks around the National Football League, am I wrong with this?
No.
What? Everybody wants a functional marginal quarterback. They think they could turn into a stud. So the Panthers get Baker Mayfield. And I know there's some of you who are thinking it's not fair to call Jim Garoppolo a marginal quarterback. Well, Jeff, he went to the Super Bowl and he got to the NFC Championship game last year and he beat Aaron Rodgers. Right? All that's right. All that's right, man. And you can still be a marginal quarterback. I didn't say he was a bad quarterback. I think you're out of your mind if you think he's a great quarterback. Is he a good quarterback? Okay. All right. He's so good that they are going to try to get rid of him and play a guy who's never really played in the NFL before. That's how good he is. So what does it mean for Jim Garoppolo? I think he's going to stay in San Francisco. However, there is a new leader to acquire Jim Garoppolo. Do you know who that is?
Who is it, Jeff?
The Cleveland Browns. Because the Cleveland Browns are staring at their quarterback, Deshaun Watson, at potentially, and I think the word is more probably, missing the majority, if not all, of next season due to an NFL suspension. So they have got Jacoby Brissett, who is a marginal quarterback. I think Jim Garoppolo is a higher marginal quarterback, a better marginal quarterback. And so could Jim Garoppolo be the guy who is the stopgap for the Cleveland Browns? And is that what he's going to be the rest of his career? Just a guy who bounces around and filling gaps? Or does he stay in San Francisco, and if it doesn't work, he just kind of play it out, a place where he's familiar, and they know that they can go to him if they need him. And if Trey Lance doesn't work, gets hurt, something like that, they can go to the bullpen, and they got Jim
stopgap until they figure out what's next.
Until they find their next Trey Lance.
Or the next time Jimmy Garoppolo gets hurt.
And by the way, you can make a hell of a living being a stopgap guy in the NFL. Yes. I mean, the case in point is Fitzmagic, right? I mean, he made a hell of a. He didn't go to playoffs. He never won at a great level.
He got to play.
And he got to play, and he made a bunch of money. Like you can make a living doing this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Chase Daniel doesn't play. He just makes a lot of money.
He's not even a stopgap, dude. He's
at least he can be a guy that plays.
Like, he holds the best clipboard ever. If there was a textbook for how to hold a clipboard and wear your hat.
You don't even hold clipboards anymore, do you?
I don't know. Is it a
Surface tablet?
Yeah, is it a tablet?
Jimmy Garoppolo to Cleveland would be best case scenario for Jimmy Garoppolo.
Because he'd get to play.
And not just that, the offense they run, very similar style, just in terms of the philosophy. Got two really good running backs. They're not going to ask you to do a lot downfield. So Jimmy Garoppolo could be very successful in Cleveland.
is it expensive to get him? This is what's really, the Browns can be attractive because, like, they got to your point, a very talented young roster. They got an offensive-minded head coach. Kevin Stefanski is that. They've got a good offensive line. They've got weapons. So it really comes. What do the 49ers want? Right? Trey Lance is going to be their quarterback. Jim Garoppolo goes where? At this point, what's fair? We just saw Baker Mayfield basically be traded for a bag of balls, right? I mean, here's a 4th or 5th round pick, and we'll pay $10 million of his $15 million, $10+ million of his $15 million salary, right? They wanted him out so bad. So that's what Baker Mayfield got traded for. Is Jim Garoppolo a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield, first of all?
I see Garoppolo being one of those, it's a 4th, but it will be a 3rd if he plays.
So you're saying, yes, then he is worth more. Instead of a 5th and a 4th if he plays, then it's a 3rd. Or would you
but
say
it might be just similar because teams are sitting there going, we are not hungry for Jimmy Garoppolo, so if you'd like to move him, here's the deal we're willing to give you.
Well, nobody was hungry for Baker. Otherwise, he would have been traded earlier, right?
Just Carolina was.
Yeah. Carolina was. And now Cleveland might be somewhat in the same place.
And that changes. It becomes more advantage San Francisco in any negotiations.
Correct.
If and when we find out how long Deshaun Watson is out, and then that's why Jimmy Garoppolo would come into play.
There's a site called Clutch Points, and it tells you 3 reasons the Browns not should acquire Jim Garoppolo, but must acquire Jimmy Garoppolo. And they talk about Deshaun Watson facing the suspension. He'd be a great fill-in option for 1 year, and it keeps the Browns competitive. If they got Jimmy Garoppolo today, and so because I think everybody looking at the Browns this year is saying, well, it's going to be tough. I mean, no Deshaun Watson, and then they're going to have to get by and Jacoby Myers. Okay, so if all of a sudden today I told you you're going into camp and Jim Garoppolo is your quarterback, are they the favorites in that division for you?
No.
They're not. Okay?
No.
Do you feel differently about them?
Yes.
Okay, that division's tough, by the way. You got the defending AFC champions, who are perennial also-rans, but they're the defending AFC champions in Cincinnati. Baltimore, who's a perennial playoff team and favorite to win that division. And the Steelers, who I think are going to be okay. I really do. I know everybody's counting out this, well, Ben's gone. I think they're going to be okay. But you feel differently
Ben
about
has been gone for a couple years, and they're still 9-7.
Really fair. I think that's really, really right. I think that's absolutely right. So you feel differently about the Browns if they went out and got Jim Garoppolo today?
Yeah, and if you're Cleveland, you feel with Jimmy Garoppolo, you can convince yourself, even more so than a whole season of Jacoby Brissett, that you can be competing for a wild card. I don't think they can win the division.
Okay.
I think I still lean Baltimore as the favorite right now.
So Garoppolo's contract?
Got 1 year left on it.
So basically it's the same as Baker, except for it's expensive. He's going to make $24.2 million this year, plus a signing bonus of 1.4, a roster bonus of $750,000, a workout bonus of $600,000. So the cap hit is basically almost $27 million. All right, good for him, man. He got a hell of a contract for a guy who's never played. Man, that's not fair. He played. You take that chance, don't you, if you're Cleveland? Are you just waiting to hear on the Deshaun Watson stuff?
You have to see what that number is going to be. Because if it's 8 games, yeah, all right, we'll figure this out for 8 games. With Jacoby.
We'll ham and egg get with Jacoby.
If Deshaun Watson gets a full season, then Jimmy Garoppolo is their best chance to actually compete for the postseason. Because Jacoby Brissett, been there, done that. Dude's a backup quarterback.
You can win a game or two with him.
You can win a little bit, but a 17-game NFL season, it's not going to look too good.
That's probably not your guy. All right, so my gut tells me up until the trade, the Baker Mayfield trade, that he was going to stay in San Francisco. And That's just where it was. I mean, musical chairs went around, and people decided they wanted Marcus Mariota and Mitchell Trubisky and Jameis Winston and Baker Mayfield instead. Because, I mean, Carolina could have gotten him. I mean, really, Carolina could have made the trade. Baker Mayfield was much more economical because Carolina's only going to pay $4.5 million. I don't know that San Francisco is going to pay a chunk of that big salary. Do you? Is that part of it? Does that come into play? Because can Cleveland afford to pay that salary with what they're paying for Baker?
Well, they're only paying $10 million for Baker,
and they're only paying $1 million for Deshaun. So they should have some quarterback money to spend, is what you're telling me?
Quarterback money, Cleveland.
Yeah, they should have some quarterback money. All right, I know there's a few Brown fans out there, and as you look through this, and we're playing musical quarterback, I don't know. Does Jim Garoppolo sound right for you? Are you thinking, all right, we can get through the year with a year of Jim Garoppolo?
Does Jim Garoppolo sound good for you?
Guy went to the NFC Championship last year. Guy who, well, it's so hard for me to sit here and say he won. That was a 13-3 game, and the touchdown was the only touchdown they scored was on a block punt, right? So that was 7 of their 13 points.
Exactly. You know what you're getting. You're not convincing yourself differently. There's a reason Trey Lance is in San Francisco.
That's right.
Because everyone sees that.
Yeah.
It's like, good, but could we be better? And they felt that year they were hurt, they were not good. Well, the roster's good, everyone gets healthy. Let's take a chance. Now, the future for Jimmy Garoppolo is, can he be that guy that keeps you competitive? It's exactly why Baker Mayfield is Carolina. And I don't think, hey, we're winning a Super Bowl, but Carolina's like, maybe we can make the playoffs. Now, with Cleveland, you could convince yourself you could win a game or two because we've seen this guy do it.
100% you can.
With a similar style of play.
Look, in Cleveland, you think you've got a roster that can make a run for the big show with a real good quarterback, and with this quarterback, you feel like you're going to convince yourself you can make a deep run. Hell yes, you're going to convince yourself of that. So I just think about that as we go through the next week. I got to believe it's any day now we're going to get the Deshaun Watson results, aren't we? Is that what you're hearing? The hearings are over. Supposedly he's spoken. They've interviewed all the witnesses and the people who are going to speak and whatever. And I don't know what the NFL is waiting for. Didn't they hand down somebody else's suspension the other day? Did we get the Kamara thing? Did that actually come down, or was that just a report? I don't know that I ever saw it officially come down, that he was going to get 8 games.
I did not see that.
I saw
officially.
I saw the report, and then I don't know that I ever saw it officially. But any day, and maybe it's a Friday afternoon news dump. Not that that's going to hide anywhere, but we should know soon. And then I think they decide, all right, are we going to make a move and get Jimmy Garoppolo? 505-246-0610. That's how to get to us today. Area code 505-246-0610. You can send text there as well. The emails come in this morning. Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com. JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. On the Twitter, it's _JJ Buck. On the Facebook, the OD in the AM. You can watch the show there. Adrian's producing on ProView Networks, Comcast Channel 26 on our Facebook page. So there's a lot of ways to consume the show. I know the FM has been a little bit in and out over the last few days. The AM is up. The app is working. We have an app, the Sports Animal ABQ, or Sports Animal Albuquerque, or 610 Sports Animal. Download that, and you can take us anywhere like San Diego or Texas or wherever it is you happen to be listening. So lots of ways to play radio with us today. Who's watching your home? I ask you that a lot because I know property crime is on the rise. Officer shortages continue, and the bad guys are out there. And I'm hoping you're protecting what's important to you, your home, your business that you've worked hard to build. I've trusted International Protective Service, IPS, to watch my home for years. They patrol every single day, even when we're in town. I know people say, well, when you're out of town, they're there every day. I see them go by every day. My neighbors felt so good about it. They also have IPS watching their home. You go out of town, they'll roll garbage cans to the curb and back on garbage day, pick up mail or newspapers or packages, whatever it is that you need taken care of. Your alarm goes off. They're there within 5 to 7 minutes. It's private security for about $5 a day. Aaron's from Albuquerque. He started this business because he's passionate about making Albuquerque a safer, better place to live and work by watching your home, watching your business with highly trained, armed guards or 24-hour patrols. I know you see them everywhere. The reason they're everywhere is because they're really good. give IPS a call, see what they can do for you. 505-897-2420. That's their number. 505-897-2420 or online at ipsglobal.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
For certified collision and body repair, visit the experts at CarCrafters. 5 locations in Albuquerque and Rio Rancho. Visit CarCrafters.com.
CarCrafters, it's like it never happened.
The energy landscape is limitless and ever-changing. Cleaner energy resources are crucial to New Mexico's environment. For 100 years, PNM has utilized cutting-edge technology and employed hard-working New Mexicans to ensure that we have consistent, reliable energy when we need it. For life's loudest moments, quietest moments, and every moment in between. We're dedicated to providing you with energy now and into the future. All you have to do is dream of what to do with it next.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the Pet Supply Superstore. ClarksPets.com.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Dream style stucco. Stucco is the way to go. The Southwest tradition, beautiful and durable. The perfect combination. Your favorite color, your favorite texture. You're gonna love it when they put it all together. Through any weather, nothing looks better. From the smooth to the rough, they really know their stuff. Nobody does stucco like Dream style stucco. For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number 1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors Because whatever it takes.
There's a lot of names on the trade blocks, or maybe on the trade blocks, like Jim Garoppolo and Baker Mayfield got traded. It's the opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, J.J. Buck. I'm not sure if we're on the trade block or not. And then there's the Kevin Durant thing. And the more I listen to it, and the more I consume information on who wants Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, for that matter. I'll give you a scenario that's because the Spurs and Lakers are evidently working on something with Brooklyn to get Kyrie to the Lakers. I'm more and more convinced that Kevin Durant's going to start the season in Brooklyn. Are you?
I am. I don't get why Kevin Durant is so upset.
And he hasn't said
the
why.
reports are that he is actually very close with Kyrie. And so Kevin Durant does not like the way Brooklyn treated Kyrie Irving. But I'm looking at these two guys, and it's pot meat kettle. No one has done you wrong.
All right.
Kyrie made a choice.
And so did the Nets.
And the Nets were like, we are not going to have you be a part-time player.
And so they did not give him a long-term
Kevin Durant
deal.
was upset.
Well, I want you to back
this
up.
This goes back to the vaccination stuff.
Yeah, but I want you to back up. What when you said he's not happy, how did
But
you
they
just
did
phrase
not
it?
just let him play in the road games.
Yeah, and how they did Kyrie Irving. I mean, Kyrie Irving did himself, right? Kevin Durant evidently is upset of how they treated Kyrie and then not gave him this extension just now. So he had to opt in for his 1 year, and he's only going to make $37 million. The poor guy, and he didn't get his long-term mega deal because he shows up sporadically to work and wants to get paid full time. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, go on, continue. I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure everybody understood that.
Kevin Durant has fallen off a cliff in terms of the dude that you're like, all right, we all get a little salty on social media at times. It's been there. I read the text line. I know it goes on. Things get crazy at times to the point of, like, if I'm Brooklyn, I'm just even gonna like sit on the dude to send a message. Like, why should I trade you? Like, at what point do y'all not get this as a business? Because you sit there and say, well, for the players, it's all business. Players can do whatever the heck they want. These franchises gave you everything.
Feels like it.
The Brooklyn Nets gave you everything you wanted. When are you going to take some personal accountability? When are you even maybe going to look at your good friend Kyrie and go, dude, we got to reset this shit, instead of running from everything?
These two guys think that they've been slighted by the Nets and slighted by everybody, and it's everybody else's fault. And they can think that all they want. And that's why I think there's a real good chance that they end up back together in Brooklyn.
Because it's there. If he is your good buddy, guess what? You got a chance to play with your good buddy this season. You're both under contract.
Let me tell you
for the Brooklyn Nets.
And you got Ben Simmons there for whatever that might mean. If some reason you go to camp here in 4 months, 3 months, whatever it is, and the two of you are together, you have a chance then to prove everybody wrong. You have a chance to prove how wrong you've been. And you haven't been wronged. But you go out and win this year, Kyrie will get his money. You're getting yours. But if you go out and win, and then Kyrie could tell him, bleep you and stick it up your backside, right? You didn't want me last year, you're not getting me now. And look, if they get to the conference finals or they get to the finals or win the damn thing, right? The Nets will give Kyrie whatever the hell he wants. He's got a chance to prove it, but at some point you got to go to work to earn your money. And they're not going to pay him. And I know there's a few people who are still out there saying, well, Jeff, he didn't want the vaccination, he shouldn't have to get. Okay, that was on him. Everybody else in that league seemed to have figured it out, right? Everybody else?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Everybody seemed to figure out how to go to work around the restrictions. And he didn't. And it was always somebody else's fault. Then there was social movements. And he would disappear for a week because the social movements were more important than his job. Okay. Well, Jeff, I mean, it's a bigger issue than playing basketball. It's a silly game. You're right. Now, I don't recall him saying, I'm taking non-paid leave. I'm out of here. He went to celebrate with a relative's birthday, correct? Disappeared for a week. A week for a birthday party. Was in contact with his team. But somehow the Nets did him dirty. The Nets, who are going to pay him $37 million this year, and paid him a full salary last year when he showed up as a part-time employee. And then they get to the playoffs because they figured that they would flip the switch and everything was going to be fine. Oh, and they couldn't flip the switch, and they got swept in the first round. Swept. I believe that was the only sweep of the playoffs. I'm right, aren't I? What, another sweep in any playoff series this year. But yet they did him wrong because they unloaded on you two guys, got you James Harden, and you guys couldn't figure it out. And somehow not signing him to a long-term deal because he's unreliable. And by the way, nobody else wanted to in the whole league either. And now Kevin Durant's going to go, well, yeah, you did my guy wrong. I want out. What? And now you're going to leave your guy all by himself? Well, they'll trade him too. Explain to me how he was done so wrong.
I just don't see it. I think this is one of the worst off seasons for Kevin Durant.
Does he have to explain it at some point?
Of all the mess to then say, oh, I want to be traded from Brooklyn. And you're just like, well, why? We've done everything you've wanted to.
Yeah.
You've been hurt. You just have to deal with it. So there's a reason why they weren't able to win some of those games.
Well,
because you were hurt. And
let's
not
go to the
playing
KD thing.
Basketball, Kevin Durant. And now if you're teams in the NBA, you're poking around, you're making those calls. Because, like, absolutely, why the heck not? But then if you hear what Brooklyn is potentially asking for Kevin Durant in some of these deals, that to me says they are in zero rush to trade Kevin Garnett, when one of the rumors that was out there, this was from Yahoo's Vincent Goodwill, said that Brooklyn asked Minnesota for Karl Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards, and 4 draft picks.
Yeah. So give me everything you got and your future, and you can have this dude. And then you'd send him, like, honestly, that's sent into Siberia. Because not only is, Jeff, I mean, they're good. This was before the Gobert trade. So they didn't have Gobert. So here's our 2 best pieces and our future. We'll take him, but we got nothing to put around him. How's Minnesota winning?
That's also saying that we're not in any hurry to negotiate a Kevin Durant deal.
All right. Can we follow the Kevin Durant trail on this? So they broke the bank and gave him basically the biggest contract in the history of the game at the time, right? When they signed him as a free agent when he left Golden State, correct? Do you remember the circumstances surrounding that? Let me refresh your memory. Kevin Durant had an Achilles tear. He basically had a redshirt season. Well, a redshirt season means you don't lose your eligibility in college. But in pros means you get paid a full salary. He made, north of $40 million that year. And the Nets knew they were paying for that year when he would not play at all. And they paid him north of $40 million to sit on the bench, but we got him for the next bunch of years. The next year he was oft injured. He's been there 3 years, correct? Yeah, 3. This is a franchise that went out and said, I'll tell you what, man, get healthy. We're going to build around you. We're going to bring in your guys, and we're going to pay you like the best player in the game when we know you can't play this year, but we're going to pay you that, and we're going to give you this gigantic contract for the future, and we're going to go out and get everything we can. Then they went out and got James Harden. Well, when they got James Harden, we all sat here and said, it's over. It's like you look at that Live Airplane and say the PGA Tour is dead.
Tour is done.
Yeah. I mean, when they got James Harden, it was like, it's over. They got Kyrie Irving, James Harden, and Kevin Durant on one team? It's over. Oh, yeah, it was over, all right. Didn't work. Everything he wanted. So don't you think, and look, I've always kind of been a Kevin Durant guy. And is he soft? He's a little soft. But he's unbelievably good. Yeah. And I think he's just overly sensitive. But in this one, I just think he's so incredibly wrong. I just, and I want to hear him tell me why he's right. Like, where are you coming from? And has he tweeted anything? Is there been anything from KD on this to explain why he wants out, how he feels so wronged?
Nothing from Kevin Durant.
So what do you do, man? You're any franchise in the league, and we come. I know we got to take this break. Let's have this conversation when we come back. The best player potentially on the planet Is that an exaggeration?
It's not
All right.
exaggerated.
Is available and you can get them for 4 years. Is it worth it? I can't even believe we're having that conversation. It's the opening drive. Amory produced it on radio, Adrian on TV side, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
Try Taco Bell's new cheese.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
For certified collision and body repair, visit the experts at CarCrafters. 5 locations in Albuquerque and Rio Rancho. Visit carcrafters.com.
CarCrafters, it's like it never happened.
The energy landscape is limitless and ever-changing. Cleaner energy resources are crucial to New Mexico's environment. For 100 years, PNM has utilized cutting-edge technology and employed hard-working New Mexicans to ensure that we have consistent, reliable energy when we need it. For life's loudest moments, quietest moments, and every moment in between. We're dedicated to providing you with energy now and into the future. All you have to do is dream of what to do with it next.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the Pet Supply Superstore. ClarksPets.com.
Dream style stucco. Stucco is the way to go. A Southwest tradition, beautiful and durable. The perfect combination. Your favorite color, your favorite texture. You're gonna love it when they put it all together. Through any weather, nothing looks better. From the smooth to the rough, they really know their stuff. Nobody does stucco like Dream Style Stucco. For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number 1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures.
It's Animal.
All right, so how can it be that a guy who is in the legitimate conversation, and there's probably, I don't know, I mean, less than a handful, and a handful I think is 5, of people who you would argue are the best player in the world, the best basketball player in the world is available. And he's available and his contract is valid. You'd basically, theoretically, have him locked up for 4 years. So how can it be that everybody isn't clamoring to unload and get him? It's the opening drive, Jeff Symbieta and J.J. Buck. Right? If pick your player, I don't know, who is it in the NFL? I mean, you know, if Patrick Mahomes was available, said, I want it, I'm out. Teams would be figuring it out, right?
We just saw this, Jeff. It's Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. That's really good.
Like, maybe.
But Aaron Rodgers is 39 years old and at the end. This is a little different because you got 4 years of this guy at the back end of his prime. I mean, it's a little different, but okay. At some point, what's the off the court stuff? Where does it offset? It's not worth for like Minnesota to go and unload everything they have, and so now you have Kevin Durant and nothing around him, and Kevin Durant's gonna be miserable and living in Minnesota, and he's gonna want out tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I don't know if there's a deal that makes sense from any contender.
Well,
where they're gonna keep enough to where Brooklyn's going to say, I'm going to agree to this deal to trade you Kevin Durant.
So
that's not going to gut your roster.
Yeah, the Golden State one does, although I don't love it. But if you were going to tell me the Golden State was going to send them Jordan Poole, Wiseman, and Kuminga, let's just say, and they keep Wiggins, or even Wiggins and they keep Kuminga, and some draft picks, that one they're intact, they can still win.
Well, I don't see Brooklyn getting to that point where they're going to back down that far because there are plenty of deals. It would even be if I'm Boston saying, you want Jaylen Brown and some draft picks because we have a ton
what
of
else?
them.
Jaylen Brown and what else? What else are you giving me? Marcus Smart?
I'm giving you an all-star and Jaylen Brown. And
all right, what else am I getting?
First-round picks.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. I don't know if there's – like Kevin Durant's going to have to get really, really salty. Like James Harden level of I'm not showing up, I'm not playing basketball for Brooklyn to back down to that level where you can start talking about deals like that. Because to what you're getting at is Brooklyn's going to be asking for the world. And then if you're one of these teams, you're like, well, even with Kevin Durant, we're not going to be any good if we just gave you most of our good players.
Right. And what's Brooklyn going to accept? Lenny, good morning to you.
Morning. Well, the other issue you have to take into is when you trade for an assignment trade, you become hard capped.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So you have to take that into consideration when you're doing the trade. Now, the Nets are showing right now they're still trying to win. They got the Royce O'Neal, and they just signed T.J. Warren.
Wow. Okay.
So, I mean, they're making some bench moves.
Well, that's what the Nets don't want to go into rebuild, and they've got this asset, and they feel that even if they are forced to trade Kevin Durant and or Kyrie Irving, they feel that they should not. They've got enough assets that they shouldn't have to go into a rebuild.
Right. And I saw one deal yesterday, someone in ESPN, but I don't know if it was Mark Spiels or somebody, and basically the Knicks were giving up 7 players and 5 draft picks. I'm like, what team in their right mind is going to do that for one player?
The Vikings did for Herschel Walker.
Yes, I understand that. And how did that work out?
Exactly right.
And also, Minnesota paying for Gobert is an anomaly in the market.
Well, but does that set the market?
No other team would have given up 5 number 1.
Yeah, but does that set the market? Because Brooklyn's now saying, well, look
market,
at that.
But how many other teams now that look at, they want at least one all-star. The only teams I see that can do that is either
Golden State or
Golden State. But does he want to go back to Golden State and win? Because then he's going to win, but it's not going to be his team winning.
Toronto
has the best assets for the Nets right away to get 2 starters right away in.
Yep. And then maybe Phoenix if they go Bridges and Cam Johnson.
But now you have DeAndre Ayton is now in limbo land.
Well, can they sign and trade him? So how does that work? Can they sign and trade Ayton and go Ayton, Bridges, and Johnson for him.
Yes, they can to the Nets, and that would be fine because Ayton didn't get the rookie max extension. That deal where you can't have two of the same players on the team with that type of rookie contract.
Yeah. Right. So that could happen.
Ayton.
Yeah.
And for the Nets, that would be the best way to go. You're getting 3 starters right there.
And that would be really good. I think that makes sense for Phoenix. And look, I hate losing Bridges and Johnson, but if I'm Chris Paul's got.
But they don't want Ayton, so they're already getting rid of somebody.
That's my point. They're getting rid of somebody that they're already thinking they're getting rid of. So for them, it's losing 2 pieces. And like Chris Paul's got a year left, maybe, right? Yeah. And so you say Booker and Durant is my anchor for the next couple of years. I can go against Golden State with that. Now all of a sudden, you throw pieces around that. I hate to lose Bridges and Johnson, but that makes a ton of sense to me.
Right, and then the Nets just have to figure out with Kyrie. Now, I saw another good deal. There's 2 teams left in the league that could basically absorb Kyrie's contract and not give up any assets if the Nets just wanted to do that. And San Antonio is one of those teams.
Yeah, and San Antonio's getting into it evidently with the Lakers on a 3-team deal potentially that might get Kyrie to L.A.
Okay, and that's fine because at the end of the day, I want him gone.
All right. Well, that's good.
It's like having Sybil in your backcourt.
But if KD stays, then you keep them together.
Right. But what if KD at the end of the day pulls a Kobe when Kobe was saying, I want to get traded, never got traded?
Yeah, and maybe it is. And it might be. What if? And then he stays there.
Because the Nets are in the driver's seat. There's no out for him.
Just like the Lakers
were. He has a 4-year contract that just started, and he doesn't have any limitations on where he can get traded to.
And he's got to go to work. All right, we're at the top with the music. Lenny, great
all
call.
Have a good weekend.
Yeah, you too. Great call.
Mm-hmm.
The Phoenix thing makes a ton of sense to me too. When we come back, I'll tell you what the San Antonio thing might look like with the Lakers and the Nets. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
For certified collision and body repair, visit the experts at CarCrafters. 5 locations in Albuquerque and Rio Rancho. Visit carcrafters.com.
CarCrafters, it's like it never happened.
The energy landscape is limitless and ever-changing. Cleaner energy resources are crucial to New Mexico's environment. For 100 years, PNM has utilized cutting-edge technology and employed hard-working New Mexicans to ensure that we have consistent, reliable energy when we need it. For life's loudest moments, quietest moments, and every moment in between. We're dedicated to providing you with energy now and into the future. All you have to do is dream of what to do with it next.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the pet supply superstore. ClarksPets.com.
Dream style stucco. Stucco is the way to go. A Southwest tradition, beautiful and durable. The perfect combination. Your favorite color, your favorite texture. You're gonna love it when they put it all together. Through any weather, nothing looks better. From the smooth to the rough, they really know their stuff. Nobody does stucco like Dream style stucco. For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number 1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years.
Voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. This is the opening drive with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta, and JJ Buck.
So much going on, but nothing going on, if that makes any sense. There's just a lot of gum flapping, a lot of talking about trading in the National Basketball Association. Rudy Gobert got traded. But Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving really are the pillars that have to fall or maybe not fall for everything else to happen. Good morning to you. Opening drive, Merry Friday. A. Marie's in. Does it feel like a long week to you, even though it's been a short week to you?
Yes.
I mean, A. Marie had to work 2 days this week. Yep. I don't know.
You okay? Hanging in there?
Okay.
You all right?
Okay,
Driving?
first of all, and it was actually nice because the Topes played really well last night and the game was done so early. Topes won, if anyone.
Those quick games are nice.
Yeah, yeah. I work. Yeah, if anyone didn't know.
5-2 last night?
Yeah, it was a good game.
Yeah.
I was like, woohoo, bet early. It does feel like a long week. I'm not complaining. I had a really good time on vacation, but sometimes when you get back from vacation,
you need a vacation.
You need like a day off.
No doubt.
I like a day. I want to have a day to get ready to get back in my routine.
Well, I'm dumb. I always come back on that flight that's scheduled to get in at 10:20.
Me too.
It never does.
And it never does.
No.
I do the same thing.
I'm doing that my next trip. Well, my next 2 trips, I think.
Yeah.
I'm that way. And we had Monday off. And I was just walking the halls, and John Summers.
Oh, my goodness.
John Summers, the news guy. I love John Summers.
John.
He's like, I don't know why. The shortest weeks always feel like the longest week. I'd almost rather not take Monday off. And I'm like, all right, you do that. I'll eat it feels longer, but I know it wasn't. I'll take Monday off.
I'll still take the Monday off.
Take the Monday off.
Definitely take the Monday off.
Yeah. What happened to his dog? Has his dog been banned? Have all the dogs been banned around here? Were you here the day there was a little doggy accident?
I didn't see the accident. I just see the cute little dogs when I'm leaving, or hear them from time to time.
It was a holiday, wasn't it? It was when nobody was here. It was a Monday holiday. Could have been the 4th, but it wasn't. You know what it was? It was Juneteenth, because it was the day of our golf tournament.
Yeah, we were here.
Yeah, for those of you who know, some people bring their dogs to work, and maybe that's the case at your place if you even go to work anymore.
Want a dog.
I don't know.
Well,
I got a dog for you. Do you want a dog?
Kyle and I can't have one yet because our landlord won't let us.
Audra's fostering a really cool dog. Like a really cool dog.
Are you giving away her dog?
No, she's got her dog, and then she's fostering another dog that she's trying to find a home.
Kyle wants Great Danes.
She got her dog through foster.
Okay.
Like she was fostering, she fell in love with it, and named it Kobe, by the way.
Kobe.
Because it
how
jumps
cute.
around. Yeah. But she's fostering another dog named Max who she's trying to find a home for. It's a great little dog. Great little dog.
Kyle wants Great Danes.
All right, well, that's not it.
Yeah.
All right, so anyway, for those of you listening.
Find me a Great Dane.
There were a few people who bring their dogs to work. And on that particular Monday, when the place was relatively empty, there was one salesperson in the sales area. And I went back there and kind of stinks. And he was down there cleaning up dog poo.
Oh, man.
And he was understandably,
it wasn't his dog.
It was not his dog, and he was understandably cranky. Wouldn't he be kind of a little choked?
Yeah.
And and Summers is walking around with his dog going, "It wasn't my dog. It wasn't him. It wasn't my dog." And I'm like, I got it, but I haven't seen a lot of dogs around here lately.
No.
Has there been a no more dog memo? Yeah.
Yikes.
Bring your dog to work. All right. Speaking of dogs, Russell Westbrook. That's not fair.
I saw where you're going. Just do it. You got to commit.
I mean, it's
you have to
just
commit.
not fair.
You have to commit to the bet.
Do I?
Yes.
Do I, even if it's bad?
Yes.
Yeah, really?
Yes.
All right. Is Russell Westbrook a dog, though?
No.
He's a well-paid dog, man. All right. The trade rumors in the NBA. And I think it's no secret that the Lakers want Kyrie Irving. It's no secret because LeBron James has made it pretty clear he wants Kyrie Irving back on his team, this time in Los Angeles. And the issue is the salary issue because Russell Westbrook's got a $47 million hit this year, and how are they going to get him? And there's no and Kyrie's not a free agent. He's under contract. So the word is that the San Antonio Spurs would be the third team, and evidently that they're in the conversations of a possible three-team deal. In essence, there would be a $37 million cap hit that the Spurs have space for that or at least they're capable of creating that. Now, it's not enough to absorb $47 million, but if the Lakers were willing back to take a role player and they threw out the names Doug McDermott or Josh Richardson, which would cover the difference, and it can be done. The Spurs would presumably then be compensated for their issues and their troubles. They would get a first-round pick. Whose first-round pick? The Nets? Where'd that first-round pick come from?
The Lakers own first-round picks.
Do they? Okay.
They're just in the future, like 2027.
All right. But, I mean, so okay.
So,
and
Jeff,
then
before-
2027, 2029. Wow. All right.
All right. Before we go any further on this, this
please.
is not happening.
I don't think so either.
Because a little bit later on, we're reminded in this story, it's
I was just
one of
reading
Greg Popovich's cardinal rules is not to help Western Conference rivals. The San Antonio Spurs are not going to be a part of a trade that lands Kyrie Irving with the Los Angeles Lakers for a season. Popovich also complained publicly about the Lakers acquiring Pau Gasol in 2008, saying, how did Memphis help them?
Right. Right. Boy, did they help them.
And they won the championship.
Lakers, Spurs last made a trade.
Spurs are not going to be part of a three-team trade that makes the Lakers better.
I think you're right.
Russell Westbrook's contract.
Do you know the last time the Spurs and Lakers were involved in a trade?
Just learned it. 1990.
1990. So Popovich was an assistant under Larry Brown back in that day. And I didn't know this. In 2018, the Lakers were trying to get Kawhi Leonard. And the Orange County Register reported that what you just said, that it's one of Popovich's cardinal rules. So I agree with you that it probably won't happen.
One first-round pick isn't worth it to make the Lakers better.
One first pick when he's going to be gone. Right? When he's gone. And he's got to take on Russell Westbrook this year. How does it make him any better at all?
Well, they're tanking this year.
Okay,
but on top of that, they don't want to help Western Conference rivals.
Yeah. I don't blame them. Do you?
So, and if they were to make a trade, Russell Westbrook doesn't make them better, so they stay on that path of not being a good basketball team this next season. It's just not going to happen. And I do not, if I'm teams right now, I'm not going, I want a 2027 or 2029 first-round pick to make the Lakers better.
I see no reason anybody should do it.
I do not see many teams.
Oh, and I'll take the Russell Westbrook thing, and I'll pay him $47
getting
million.
involved in this to help facilitate Kyrie to the Lakers just for a future first round.
I agree with you 1,000%.
At some point, those assets are overrated.
Because also they're taking on a $47 million salary for a guy who was bad last year.
The last two picks of the Rudy Gobert trade, stop screaming about that. You can get first-round picks back all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And if Minnesota is good, Minnesota, you know what they want to do? They want to be a second-round team in the playoffs and have a chance to go to a
conference. That means their pick
final.
is number 22 out of 30.
That's why they make a trade like that for a 30-year-old Rudy Gobert, saying Anthony Edwards is that dude. We got Karl Anthony Towns.
Oh, good for
we're,
them
We're
making
going
a
a
run.
Twin Towers approach over the next couple of years. We're going to try to get the second round of the playoffs to be a competitive, meaningful team, which they have not been in a long time. They're going to be late first-round picks. And if you haven't noticed, teams throw these picks around like crazy, so you can get those back.
Yep.
But
Nobody's got their own pick anymore.
Yeah. So, like, the last 2 picks on that deal, like, stop worrying about it. It's even if I get a future first-round asset, I'm not all that keen on just a first-round pick in 2029 to help the Lakers get Kyrie Irving.
And I'll spend $47 million on Russell Westbrook. No. Ren says flop. That's what Ren calls Greg Popovich. Jeff, do you know the San Antonio Snores haven't been better than 500 since 2019? How long can flop survive on just reputation? For the rest of his life. And for the rest of lore, he'll survive on his reputation. And by the way, as long as he wants to. Ron says on Kevin Durant, at some point you just got to ask if putting up with all the off-field garbage is worth a guy that's probably not going to play more than 40 or 50 games a year. Well, obviously, and that's what's going on. How much is it worth? If you're Phoenix, it's worth it. Because, look, did Kevin Durant prove to you that when he's in a situation where they're front-running, he's pretty good? When he was in Golden State, did he prove to you that when things are going well, he's reliable? Because to me, that's why it works in Phoenix. You put in with Kevin Booker, Chris Paul, put some pieces around there. I know they won't have Bridges and Johnson, but if you put it there,
doesn't matter at that point. If you have Kevin Durant,
that's my point.
Yeah, because that's a team. Like, if you're a Phoenix, you're chomping at the bit.
Yes,
because you're not getting anywhere with just Devin Booker.
Right. So this puts you over the top. You think now I can compete with Golden State, and now we're real contenders. And are you convincing yourself? I'll put him in a situation much like he was in Golden State, where life's good, man. We're winning. We're a front runner because I think he's proven he's a pretty good front runner, right? When he was in Golden State, he showed up to work, right?
Mm-hmm.
When he was with those guys, he played well. He was MVP
for KD.
Yeah.
They had that last series against Golden State where they blew the lead, and so that's where it kind of started to raise your eyebrow when you have a player of that caliber have a bad series. You start piling on.
That's what people do.
Because that was a long time. Forget that. He was a 19-year-old, 1 year in Seattle, and up to 27 playing with that organization in Oklahoma City. It was that final series that kind of started to go,
Yep. All right, 505-246-0610 if you want to get in on that. We'll get in on the football stuff as well. Golf going on at the Scottish Open. It's the week before the Open Championship. It's St. Andrews, so we can go there. Brittany Griner's situation yesterday. We had a lot of conversation on that. If you want to follow up with that, you absolutely can. When we come back, I want to get into, well, I'll tell you, the Hall of Fame, the Football Hall of Fame class, semifinals. So there's 54 names on this list. We'll go through some of the interesting ones that you might like and some TBT talk as well. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Taco Bell.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
For certified collision and body repair, visit the experts at CarCrafters. 5 locations in Albuquerque and Rio Rancho. Visit carcrafters.com.
CarCrafters, it's like it never happened.
The energy landscape is limitless and ever-changing. Cleaner energy resources are crucial to New Mexico's environment. For 100 years, PNM has utilized cutting-edge technology and employed hard-working New Mexicans to ensure that we have consistent, reliable energy when we need it. For life's loudest moments, quietest moments, and every moment in between. We're dedicated to providing you with energy now and into the future. All you have to do is dream of what to do with it next.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the Pet Supply Superstore. ClarksPets.com.
Dream style stucco. Stucco is the way to go. The Southwest tradition, beautiful and durable. The perfect combination. Your favorite color, your favorite texture. You're gonna love it when they put it all together. Through any weather, nothing looks better. From the smooth to the rough, they really know their stuff. Nobody does stucco like Dream style stucco. For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number 1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Fame has announced 54 semifinalists, seniors, coaches, contributors. Mike Shanahan, Mike Holmgren are amongst 54 seniors and coaches who are on there. Former players. Remember Kenny Anderson, the former quarterback of the Bengals? That's right, the Bengals had a quarterback before Joe Burrow. Roger Craig made his mark with the 49ers. Billy White Shoes Johnson. Billy should go in simply because he started the end zone celebration. Billy was the first guy. First of all, Billy White Shoes. Like, you know how I feel about nicknames. Dude wore white shoes, and that was his name. Billy White Shoes. All right, Billy White
Jeff
Shoes
White
Johnson.
shirt over here.
He had white. Yes, Jeff White shirt Symbieta. Billy should go in just because of his celebration was good. I mean, he did the same thing. He got on his toes and did the little knee dance thing, and he started it all, man. Lester Hayes is in there, the cornerback for the Raiders. Clay Matthews, Sterling Sharp is on this list. Mark Clayton. A lot of guys that JJ, I know I said this to you during the break. It's a relatively underwhelming. Is that not fair? I don't mean to disparage anybody. All these guys are really good, but there's nobody here. Jim Marshall, maybe the one that just jumps off the list to me. Everson Walls is on here. Bob Kuchenberg, Stanley Morgan, Otis Taylor. Like all these guys were really good, but nobody just jumps off this list to me and says absolute Hall of Famers. Is there anybody on there that does to you?
No.
And some of these guys will be.
They're not bells ringing, fireworks going off in my head.
Yeah. I mean, as you look through the list, Marie.
I just looked through it.
Jim Marshall, if you're purple, you know.
But I would say it's very underwhelming as well.
Yeah, I'm not looking to disparage it.
And not to take away from them. I mean, it's an honor. To
Billy's
win the
my
Hall of
guy.
Fame.
Billy's my guy on this simply because of the contribution he made to end zone celebrations. Honestly. And then there's contributors, which I like that they do this because Rune Arledge is on there, and I think Rune Arledge should be in what he did for television in the product that we have. I think Don Coryell should be in there. I've always been in Don Coryell. He was a great Charger coach, great Aztec coach for so long. Art Modell, all right, I guess. Art Rooney. Surprised he's not already in. Art Rooney Jr. All right, so the seniors committee will meet August 16th. They'll select their 3 seniors for final consideration, and then the class is announced really soon, right? I mean, don't they announce it at the Hall of Fame game?
I believe so.
Or no, that's the class that's going in. I guess this is for next year.
Next year.
Yeah.
Canton's awesome too.
Yeah, I've never been to Canton.
Oh, it's so fun.
Yeah, that's one I want to go to. Yeah, I'd love to hit that. All right, 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. Also, very significant NFL news yesterday. The Raiders hired a woman named Sandra Douglas Morgan to be their team president. You say, okay, I don't know who that is, but that's cool. She becomes the first black woman to hold the title for any NFL franchise. She's from Vegas. She's an attorney in Vegas. She had previously served as a chairwoman and executive director for the Nevada Gaming Control Board. She also was the director of external affairs for AT&T Services in Southern Nevada. Obviously an incredibly bright and accomplished woman. And the Raiders are really out in front on a lot of these firsts, aren't they? This has been something that obviously has been important to the Davis family, and they've been out in front on this, and kudos to them. And I don't know that some of you will tell me, they're making token hires and whatever. I got to believe they're hiring the best person available for that job because the franchise is on the upswing.
And with any of these positions in sports, someone is going to have to, when we're talking about first, take a chance, give an opportunity. But when you're looking at front office positions, general managers, anyone in an organization, even from a scouting standpoint, like there's things that you can learn. There's things you can be good at, and you don't have to be someone that's been there, done it all the time. Like, you don't have to be someone that's ever stepped on the field or
she never played, damn it,
done something along those lines. Yeah. There's a lot of people that can become really good at a job in an organization, whether it is player development, whether it's scouting, whether it's business personnel side of it. And to what you just said, if you're good at it, someone's gonna have to be the first just so you can move on from that and get past it. But then the story's out the next day. After that, it's what have you done for me lately? Because everyone's going for the same goal.
So I would suggest to you that the Raiders have a pretty good track record of firsts. Tom Flores was the first Hispanic coach to win a Super Bowl. I think he was pretty good. And is he in the Hall of Fame yet? Because if he's not, he should be. Art Shell was the first black head coach in the NFL. He was with the Raiders. They've broken these barriers, and not just with again, I hate the word token on this, but I know a lot of people think that. I would argue with you that if you are the first at whatever it is, you better be really good, because you are going to be scrutinized more than the average. So if they hired another, whatever you think, a team president looks like, and I mean a Caucasian, a mid-50s Caucasian male, that person isn't going to get nearly the scrutiny that Sandra Douglas Morgan's going to get, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I mean, you live this every day.
Every single day, and yeah, and you said it perfect, Jeff. She hasn't played. She hasn't been on the field.
Yeah,
I've never.
stop it.
That's my.
Nor have you.
That
by the
one
way.
drives me crazy every time I'm talking football and a guy starts questioning me. Though it's like I'm like, okay, I know a bunch of dudes that haven't played football before, but they never get questioned.
Most of the people listening haven't played at that level. They haven't.
Correct.
They haven't. Well, I played Pop Warner. I played high school. Okay. All right. But I would argue with you that someone like Sandra Douglas Morgan had better be really, really, really good at what she does, because she is going to get over-scrutinized in her role because she's the first. The first.
Good for her.
100%. And I you and I have had this conversation a lot. I like to think, and I hope that I was accepting, tolerant, open my whole life. I mean, I think you get your morals and who you are when you're young, and you build on them. But being a girl dad, I probably it's probably accentuated, if that is the right word, where I am on this. In the experience I had last week, watching women in our industry and celebrating women in our industry, to celebrate Jane Kennedy and Jackie McMullen last week in Carolina, really hit home with me, you guys. And to have my daughter with me and just watch the heights in our business. And our business on this side being the journalistic side, the media side, having the young lady from El Dorado High School who went to Notre Dame win the Jim Nance Award over all these dudes, these young men, and Jim Nance talk about her. It makes me, and look, I don't know anything about Sandra Douglas Morgan, other than she got this job, and I got to believe she's really qualified. I've seen her resume. I've seen what she's done. But do you guys disagree with me on it? She's got to be better than you or me or any of these other dudes that wanted this job.
I don't necessarily disagree, but I also think it's something that, in this case, isn't going to be overly scrutinized. Like,
Why?
there's going to be so much more that goes on that by the time training camp comes around and other stories start popping up, we're going to kind of forget who some of these executives are, whether they're male or female.
It's interesting. Because I think the fact that it is the NFL, it's a pretty high-profile franchise in the Raiders, and it's a team president position. I think she will get scrutinized. I think.
Well, let's see how they do this year too.
Well, their roster's pretty put together at this point, right? And what is her responsibilities going to be? But it's. Yeah, I think that she's probably going to get. It's just the way it is. But we'll see. We'll see. Do you know the team president for any? How many teams do you know team president's name? Just curious. Right? Do you know, like the Broncos? Who's the team president? That's your team, right? Who's the Vikings team president?
Wilf. Mark Wilf?
Ziggy Wilf or Mark Wilf?
Mark
is,
Wilf.
is that Ziggy's kid?
I just know the Wilfs. What?
Is that Ziggy's kid?
I believe so. Yes.
All right. I don't know who the Rams is, but we know the Raiders is, and so we'll watch. 505.
I didn't want to take away from your point.
You can if you want.
No, I'm just saying that.
No, but you knew who it was.
I just know the Vikings.
No, that's
but
okay. Yeah.
I can't name any other one. Till now, the Raiders.
Yeah. And that's fine. That's kind of the point, right?
Right.
Yeah. No, you didn't pour water on me. I mean, you actually,
hot take.
You should
hot
know
debate.
That. Yeah. 505-246-0610. Come on in if you want to get in on that. And just Raider fan, you good? They break barriers, man. They're winning games and they break barriers. All right, we can get into Brittany Griner when we get back. There was a lot of talk about that yesterday. You do not want to?
Oh boy, JJ.
Oh, we can.
Well, we had a really interesting conversation after the show, I thought, yesterday on Brittany Griner, and so many of the correspondence, the callers, the emails, the texts were, you know what? She did the crime. She got to do her 10 years in a Russian prison. That's just the way it is. And that might end up being the way it is. Probably not. But I think the tone of the response was surprising, and I want to get a little bit more into that when we get back. 505-246-0610. I want to tell you about Kirtland Federal Credit Union, because they've been New Mexico strong since 1958. Kirtland Federal Credit Union is your home loan leader. Built in the heart of Albuquerque, it's their goal to help New Mexicans achieve the dream of home ownership with the right loans, local expertise, and a relationship built on trust. Kirtland Federal Credit Union mortgage team is 100% local. That means your loan stays 100% local. You don't send a payment out of state. And when you have a question, when you reach out to talk to someone about your new home, you're going to talk to someone right here in Albuquerque, someone who knows this market and understands what you're dealing with. You can meet the Kirtland Federal Credit Union mortgage team and get started today at kirtlandfcu.org/home loan center. kirtlandfcu.org/home loan center. Kirtland Federal Credit Union is an equal opportunity lender. Membership eligibility required. See a representative for complete details.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For certified collision and body repair, visit the experts at CarCrafters. 5 locations in Albuquerque and Rio Rancho. Visit carcrafters.com.
CarCrafters, it's like it never happened.
The energy landscape is limitless and ever-changing. Cleaner energy resources are crucial to New Mexico's environment. For 100 years, PNM has utilized cutting-edge technology and employed hard-working New Mexicans to ensure that we have consistent, reliable energy when we need it. For life's loudest moments, quietest moments, and every moment in between. We're dedicated to providing you with energy now and into the future. All you have to do is dream of what to do with it next.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the Pet Supply Superstore. ClarksPets.com.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Dream style stucco. Stucco is the way to go. A Southwest tradition, beautiful and durable. The perfect combination. Your favorite color, your favorite texture. You're gonna love it when they put it all together. Through any weather, nothing looks better. From the smooth to the rough, they really know their stuff. Nobody does stucco like Dream style stucco. For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number 1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For certified collision and body repair, visit the experts at CarCrafters. 5 locations in Albuquerque and Rio Rancho. Visit carcrafters.com.
CarCrafters, it's like it never happened.
The energy landscape is limitless and ever-changing. Cleaner energy resources are crucial to New Mexico's environment. For 100 years, PNM has utilized cutting-edge technology and employed hard-working New Mexicans to ensure that we have consistent, reliable energy when we need it. For life's loudest moments, quietest moments, and every moment in between, we're dedicated.
Sweet Deal goes live at 9 o'clock this morning on our website, sportsanimalabq.com. Click on the Sweet Deal icon, and you can take advantage of Tokyo Bangkok today. 50% off any lunch, entree, or sushi at Tokyo Bangkok before 3 o'clock. Best Thai food and sushi in Albuquerque. 4.5-star rating on the Google. They're on the west side. You can get $50 worth of gift certificates for just $25. 9 o'clock this morning. Tokyo Bangkok is our Sweet Deal at sportsanimalabq.com. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta and J.J. Buck, 505-246-0610 is how you get to us today, just like every other day. 888-922-0610. If for some reason you are paying tolls, I don't know who's got toll calls anymore, but that's cool. All right, Glenn sent me an email. It says, if Brittany Griner was standing across the street, Jeff, I'd have no idea who it was. Is she big enough of a star for Russia to spend rubles on a supposed sham, as Jess claimed yesterday? Yeah, actually, she is. She's an international recognized athlete. She's played in Russia. She's played overseas. She is, I know, JJ, she's the best player in the WNBA, one of the best in the world. By the way, she's an American citizen that is high profile, that is becoming more high profile every single day.
People aren't really concerned about that part the last few days.
The American citizen part?
Yeah.
He's and where do you want to go with your American citizenship? If Stigler was in yesterday and he pointed, you said, I just don't understand why everybody's against Brittany Griner, and Stigler said, well, you got to understand that she protested and she I think he said she hated our country. She hates our country. Did he say that? Something along those lines. And I think you got to understand the difference between protesting and hating our country. There's people who love the country and protest because they love the country and think it's going the wrong way. Okay, that doesn't mean they hate our country. That means they dislike a direction the country's going. Many of you, if it's going one way, you're upset. Well, I don't do that, Jeff. I don't kneel at the anthem. You're right. So if she kneeled for the anthem, does that mean she does not deserve the protections, the rights as a United States citizen? Should the country, should the president not do what he can to get her out? Right? So, Glenn, to your point, does she carry the clout? Is she a big enough star? I don't know, man. I mean, there's that other guy that's there that is being held. He's supposedly nobody, but now he's helping that person get recognition. That person's family wants him out too. I don't know. Do you have to be a huge star for the United States to go fight for you to get out, and for the Russians?
It gets you in the headlines, but you should not have to be a huge star.
We had this conversation, okay? And a lot of names have been brought up. Would people feel different if it was LeBron James? Would people feel different if it was Steph Curry? Would people feel different if it was Cooper Kupp, Brooks Koepka? I mean, pick your American athlete. If it was a male, if it was a white male, if it was a straight white male, would people feel different? And I know there's a lot of people, no, none of those guys knelt for the national anthem, Jeff. Oh, okay. And I get it, man. I get your passion towards that. But do people really feel, you guys, that if you kneel for the anthem, you lose your rights?
I don't know how many people
know that?
Knew that.
Yeah.
In regards to Brittany Griner.
So then,
and I've said this from the beginning on this topic. Like, she made a mistake, but some people are acting like she's like was trafficking hundreds of pounds of like heroin.
I'm going to tell you,
it was a vape cartridge, and then people are like, "Whoa." You know, if that was anyone else, insert white wide receiver, ask yourself, would you be more willing to accept that they made a mistake, or are you just look at Brittany Griner and go, druggy, 10 years in Russia?
And we kind of heard that yesterday, right? Yeah. Well, I mean, some pot smoking. Well, easy. In our country, and I know it's hashish oil, and I know there's a difference between marijuana and hashish, and I get it. It's legal in 39 of the 50 states. I know a lot of people are using it for different things. A lot of people are using it because they can't sleep, or so they're using marijuana. There's medical marijuana. It's in vape cartridge forms. I mean, look, I don't know what happened. I'm going to tell you my gut on this. And JJ, you've been saying she's been going over there for 6 years, and she probably hasn't been doing this. How new the vape technology, the vape cartridges, all that stuff has been available for the 6 years, has it not?
I mean, the vape pen has been around for a while.
Right. She wasn't mass distributing this stuff. My gut tells me on her way over, she's probably discovered, I don't know, maybe relatively recently, maybe not, that this helps her either. Maybe she can't sleep. Look, I struggle sleeping. I try to find stuff that helps me sleep, and a lot of people do. Maybe that helps her sleep, or maybe it helps her alleviate pain or stress. I don't know. There's a lot of reasons people use marijuana, hashish oil, whatever, right? She wasn't carrying enough that she's distributing. I mean, we all, we're there. She pled guilty, Jeff. Well, let's hear the full story, because as we heard yesterday, she pled guilty as part of a strategy. This was going to help her case, whether she was guilty or not. And is there a potential, JJ, that she didn't have it?
And I think a lot of people are getting caught up, too, which it's fair, of who are we trading for Brittany Griner?
A terrorist, allegedly.
Who? Yeah. You want to start going down this line?
A dangerous Malafala.
Someone that the United States might have worked with in the past, actually. Does that change your mind?
Yeah.
Like, you want to start really getting into the ugliness about it? Someone in the United States might have been okay with supplying certain people weapons at certain points in time? Okay.
AC said
Brittany Griner rock for that.
Very unfortunate. She made a mistake, and it's illegal. And so, but I think our whole point is this is like way bigger than making a mistake.
Well, I'm going to kind of lean a little bit, and I know you guys disagree with me on this, but if the penalty for this in their country is 10 years in prison, I don't know that we've got a right to tell them what their penal system should be.
You can't change it, but you can get.
You can fight like hell to get.
You can fight like hell, yeah.
Others back.
I asked yesterday, like, if Svetlana Whateverchenko, right?
Someone we didn't
who's
know.
a nurse in Kiev, and she got arrested for the same offense. Would she also get 10 years? A Russian citizen who was discovered to have hashish oil in her suitcase, would she also get 10 years? And I've looked around. I couldn't find the Russian penal code and what average sentences
A
for
Russian
first
citizen is not going to get a break, Jeff. But this is
right.
We're not talking about.
But what I'm saying is this the standard penalty for this? And not that it makes me feel better that Brittany Griner's there. Is she being treated differently than anybody else? And maybe she is.
It's they just invaded another country.
I got it, man. They can do whatever the hell they want.
They know that Brittany Griner, more so than anyone else,
is a pawn to them. It's a chip.
Is a chess piece. Whether you think Brittany Griner is a star or not, she's in the headlines. We're talking about it. We're talking about the situation. They are using Brittany Griner.
Well, that's inarguable. AC says, good morning, Jeff. This whole Russia thing should prove a warning to do business with Russia. Why was she playing there versus a more friendly country to the United States? Why put yourself in that situation? And the answer is money.
Where she was able to make the most money.
That's where she was able to make the most
Why
money.
play
And
on the Live Golf Tour?
yeah, and she'd been over there for, to your point, 6 years. Now,
been over
granted,
for a
it's a
while.
different world now than it was 4 years ago. And maybe she thought twice about going over there, but she felt safe going over there, where she, by every account, was treated relatively well and made money. And this is the whole, and then we got to break, the WNBA saying, they should be paid equally to the men.
Well, they're never going to get that.
Well, obviously. But why do they have to go over? Well, they don't have to, but she can maximize her income by going over and doing this. Got a break. I got more thoughts on this. I know you do too. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
If summer is heating up,
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For certified collision and body repair, visit the experts at CarCrafters. 5 locations in Albuquerque and Rio Rancho. Visit carcrafters.com.
It's like it never happened.
The energy landscape is limitless and ever-changing. Cleaner energy resources are crucial to New Mexico's environment. For 100 years, PNM has utilized cutting-edge technology and employed hard-working New Mexicans to ensure that we have consistent, reliable energy when we need it. For life's loudest moments, quietest moments, and every moment in between. We're dedicated to providing you with energy now and into the future. All you have to do is dream of what to do with it next.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the Pet Supply Superstore. ClarksPets.com.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Dream Star Stucco. Stucco is the way to go. The Southwest tradition, beautiful and durable. The perfect combination. Your favorite color, your favorite texture. You're gonna love it when they put it all together. Dream Style Stucco.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For certified collision and body repair, visit the experts at CarCrafters. 5 locations in Albuquerque and Rio Rancho. Visit carcrafters.com.
CarCrafters, it's like it never happened.
The energy landscape is limitless and ever-changing. Cleaner energy resources are crucial to New Mexico's
The Sports Animal.
All right, if you I'm not going to burn the rest of the day on this, and maybe just the rest of this hour we'll have this conversation. If you want to get in, the correspondence, and I don't know what's on the text line because I don't have. Is there anything there? I don't have the access to that. But the reason I'm bringing up the Brittany Griner stuff again is because after the show yesterday, I had so many people talk to me about what we said. And by the way, everybody who came up to me last night, and the gala was packed last night, the Junior Cancer Fund. Thank you for all the kind words. Sometimes I go to those things, and now that we're getting back into them regularly, I forget how many people actually listen to this thing on a regular basis or periodic basis, and we got so many compliments, and you guys both as well. It was really cool. But people want to talk about that subject yesterday. What do you think of the Brittany Griner thing? And I was surprised isn't the word, intrigued, interested in all the differing points of view. Because I think, JJ, you say, and you said, if it was a Caucasian receiver, and if it was Cooper Kupp, would you feel differently about?
Would people be more willing to accept that it was a mistake as opposed to some, she deserves to be there for 10 years?
She doesn't deserve to be in a Russian jail for 10 years for having a vape cartridge with hashish.
100 years.
Well, Jeff, it's against their laws, and you're right, and they have the right to do what they want to do. And if it was your kid, if it was your daughter, if it was your niece, you'd want the president to work like hell to get that person out, wouldn't you? And that's what Cheryl, Brittany Griner's wife, is trying to do. And that's what the family of other hostages, and hostages isn't the right word because they're not hostages, prisoners. Hoser, you got like about a minute. What's up, man? It's good to hear you.
Oh, hey, man. Good to you guys. Good morning. Yes, I think, the consequences may just be a little bit much. 10 years. I think even in this country, 10 years is a lot, and we've seen that, going back to the 90s when guys were getting popped for small amounts of marijuana, and then the effects that does to families. So I think not necessarily, let's not take away the consequences, but let's be fair about it. If it's a small amount, I think 6 months, 8 months, or whatever, I think is sufficient, and let's move on. But yeah, I think that 10 years is a little bit much.
Yeah, but say that ain't America over there, man. I mean, and again, in our country, that's probably right. That ain't America.
Yeah, but we do it here too. I mean, sometimes we give guys 10 years. I mean, it just doesn't make sense, instead of being more reasonable with what's happening. And I know that's what the laws are in the book, but still, I think if we looked at that maybe a little bit more better, I don't know, we could definitely have some better change, I guess.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. Thanks, man. It ain't ours to look at. I mean, that's the reality of she's in.
We're not changing law. We're just trying to get.
We just want her home. That's all people
the U.S.
want.
citizens back.
That's all people want. 505-246-0610. All right, one more hour in our work week. Talk some NFL, TBT. TBT's a week from Monday, boys and girls. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
Like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For certified collision and body repair, visit the experts at CarCrafters. 5 locations in Albuquerque and Rio Rancho. Visit carcrafters.com.
CarCrafters, it's like it never happened.
The energy landscape is limitless and ever-changing. Cleaner energy resources are crucial to New Mexico's environment. For 100 years, PNM has utilized cutting-edge technology and employed hard-working New Mexicans to ensure that we have consistent, reliable energy when we need it. For life's loudest moments, quietest moments, and every moment in between. We're dedicated to providing you with energy now and into the future. All you have to do is dream of what to do with it next.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the Pet Supply Superstore. ClarksPets.com.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Dream style stucco. Stucco is the way to go. The Southwest tradition, beautiful and durable. The perfect combination. Your favorite color, your favorite texture. You're gonna love it when they put it all together. Through any weather, nothing looks better. From the smooth to the rough, they really know their stuff. Nobody does stucco like Dream Style Stucco. For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Everguard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Everguard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
This is the opening drive with three-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Cindietta, and JJ Buck.
Got a little something going on overseas right now. Good competition. I love when we have sports on in the morning. July being International Month, the British Open or the Open Championship, the 150th, at St. Andrews next week. That'll be golf. Wimbledon will wrap up this weekend and crown champions on the men's semifinal. It's the gentlemen's semifinal. Cameron Norrie of Great Britain beat Novak Djokovic in the first set, 6-2. Djokovic, it's 1-1 now in the second set, but you got a little something going on. I've watched it more Wimbledon. I'm not going to tell you a ton. More Wimbledon than I've watched in a long time, and I've been absolutely entertained by Wimbledon this week. The Nadal Fritz match 2 days ago was I didn't get any work done. There will not be another semifinal. Nick Kyrgios moves on. Rafael Nadal couldn't play with the abdominal strain. I guess he's got a torn abdominal muscle, so they call it a walkover victory. I didn't know that. But JJ, that's something going on. Opening drive, Jeff Simbieta, JJ Buck, A. Marie, and Adrian. So this will be entertaining, and it'll be something to watch as we go through. I was just scanning the social media during the break, and I showed you this post, and it was a picture of Brittany Griner and a quote from her that said, "I honestly feel we should not play the national anthem." This was a couple years ago, and the response under it says, "Well, Brittany, you hated America, and now you're looking at 10 years in a Russian prison begging for America to save you. Is this karma, or is this a life lesson learned? Where's your boy Biden? He's doing nothing to save you. America's the greatest country on planet Earth. Learn some respect." And then the responses after that are, it's karma and paybacks, and bye, and she deserves this. So this goes back to the point yesterday we were having after the show, the conversation. I don't know. Look, I think the national anthem should be played. I believe you still think the national anthem should be played. I know we never really had that conversation. Even if does that mean you hate your country? If you want to see changes, does that mean you hate your country? There are people, I do think there are people who hate the country, who are embarrassed by the country, who don't like the country. I do believe that. But we're all looking to change. And if somebody has a differing opinion, if you don't want the anthem played, does that mean you hate your country? And I can understand where people
Some
are
people
coming
are going to
from.
hear that, and that's going to be their immediate response.
Yeah.
Is this person hates the United States of America?
Why wouldn't you want it played? And look, I do want it played. I think I was at an event last night, and they the Pledge of Allegiance, and I stand for that. I respect that. But that's where I am. I understand there's a lot of people who aren't. But you think that
to me, I don't want this to get into the national anthem. thought, because it was
Yeah.
that was her opinion about it.
Yeah.
But Brittany Griner. So here's the thing. We talk a lot about the freedoms in this country.
Yeah, that's one of them.
And you can say something along those lines and not hate the United States. You can be frustrated in the moment because we saw a lot of stuff go down over the last few years. Brittany Griner has also stood and represented her country in the Olympics and won a gold medal for the United States.
That's correct.
So she is using her freedoms to speak out on things, but she also has respected the United States by representing this country at the highest level. She is doing what we all have the ability to do. Now, you can push back and not like that opinion of kneeling for the national anthem and, well, I think we should still play it. Okay. But that does not mean just because you don't like the way she feels about something, we take away their freedoms. Because guess what? That's not American. What y'all are trying to do to Brittany Griner is un-American.
Now, there would be an argument that says, well, she played for the country because it bettered her brand and made her money. And maybe that also happened, but she did represent her country. Where are you
making money playing in the Olympics?
Well, you can make money off of that. Yeah, it betters your brand. It does. It betters your brand.
Really? How's that helping out all these WNBA players right now?
I don't know. Are they getting endorsements? I don't know how exactly. I can't tell you each one, but I mean, I don't think it's arguable that if you win a gold medal, your brand isn't enhanced and your value on the market.
If she hated it, she wouldn't put on that jersey.
Fair enough. No, I think that's probably right. Where are you on that? On this whole, I honestly feel we shouldn't play the national anthem, and then people just going back and saying, well, she hated our country.
I don't think she hates our country. I think she's a quote-unquote social justice warrior. And I'm sorry, JJ, I think you nailed it right on the head. I think she's using her platform and her freedom, but I think in general this is all just coming down to politics, and it's unfortunate in whichever way we use it. And I don't know why she would be the pawn in a great political scheme.
Well, because she's the one who's got. I mean, that she was over there, and
she was over there, and a lot of us, as you said earlier, some people see it as a big deal, some people as you don't, and then people are holding resentment towards her because of the national anthem and everything going on politically. So whatever side you stand on, I mean, no one's going to agree with this, but I do agree that she should serve her time, but I do believe that 10 years is too long of a time, and I think that our government is doing stuff to try to do something. Everyone's like, where's your boy Biden? Rah! Like, I don't think that they're not doing anything.
I think this answers your question a little bit, JJ, as how if it was Cooper Kupp, would people feel differently? Right? I mean,
totally.
When you see that social media, and
doesn't that just scream of? But people that have that opinion are saying, bleep cancel culture. Well, you're all trying to cancel Brittany Griner right now. So what's the difference? Like, you're just saying, oh, she threw away all her rights because she had an opinion about the national anthem. Peace out. What are we doing?
Look, typically, when people are accusing somebody of something, they're doing the same thing, right? In a different form, they're doing the same thing. I mean, don't you feel that way? I always do that. Look, when one side's accusing the other side of something, almost inevitably, they're doing the same thing in a different form. I guess this comes down to, and for those of you who have that feeling, and so many of you do, and that's fine. Should Brittany Griner not have the rights of an American citizen because she knelt for the anthem and didn't want to play the anthem? And if you feel that she's forfeited those rights, I'm interested. I'm listening. While I don't agree, and I've told you this, right? I stand for the anthem. I understand why people have knelt for the anthem. I've always felt there was another way, other ways, plural, to do that. But it's not my fight. It's not for me to tell people how to protest, right? As Grady's told me many times, protest is not supposed to be comfortable. Okay, so take that out of the equation. Does she lose her rights as an American citizen? If it was your kid, your daughter, your friend, Cooper Kupp, LeBron James, pick your person, rock star, lawyer, grocery worker, whoever, should Brittany Griner have the same rights as those people that the United States should try to get her freedom? And I think the answer is yes.
Do people think she's like changing her mind? She's like, okay, now I have to get out of here. So now, I know. Like, she's not aware. She's going to still probably be a social justice warrior and everything. I think this has nothing to do with it.
No, it's really interesting.
You're like going back on stuff she stood up for. You're like, it's like a child. Like, well, you said this 7 years ago, so you got to stay there for 10 years. So it's like she's gonna pretend not to be for whatever she's for now because she wants to get out of.
Well, she'll stand for what she stands for. Now,
I mean,
will she have a different love for the country? If I look, I don't know. Ralph says, "Don't use little Cooper Kupp as an example. He is sacred."
Right.
Oh my gosh! But she's not.
Come on, Ralph's a Rams fan. I mean, all right, Adam Thielen. How about that? If it's Adam freaking,
I know.
Thielen.
I'm saying. I'm like they're big Brittany Griner fans out there, and yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. This is I'll bottom line it from where I am. You don't have to agree with her politically. You don't have to agree. But to me, this is me. All right? Bottom line is she's an American citizen. And that's why this is high profile. She broke a law of a foreign country, and they're going to litigate it, adjudicate it, and penalize it as they see fit. I would hope, and I don't know the answer, and I've been digging for it, that the penalty she's facing, potentially, is consistent with what one of their citizens would get for the same crime, okay? All that said, I would hope the United States of America would fight like hell and negotiate and do what they can to get her out as they would you or me or Adam Thielen or Tom Brady or Mike Trout or whoever, and any other American citizen who is over there. And whether you agree or disagree with where she is politically, and again, I'm not a fan of kneeling for the anthem, and I'm not afraid to tell you that. I understand why it's done. To me, that doesn't mean she loses her rights as an American citizen.
And I agree with that take at the end.
Yeah, I mean that's
what we're supposed to be all about, is to be able to disagree, but we're not throwing you in jail for that disagreement. We're not telling you that you can't do this, you can't do that because you disagree.
All right. When we come back, no, because that's not going to be a short one. I know we're right on the number, and I want to hear his take on this, and I have an idea where it'll go, and I'm good with that. We're going back to phones when we get back. 505-246-0610. We'll still hoe because it happens to be Friday still. So we'll do that, even though it might feel like your Tuesday. It's still Friday to the rest of us. I know we will. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Telling it like it is.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For certified collision and body repair, visit the experts at CarCrafters. 5 locations in Albuquerque and Rio Rancho. Visit carcrafters.com.
CarCrafters, it's like it never happened.
The energy landscape is limitless and ever-changing. Cleaner energy resources are crucial to New Mexico's environment. For 100 years, PNM has utilized cutting-edge technology and employed hard-working New Mexicans to ensure that we have consistent, reliable energy when we need it. For life's loudest moments, quietest moments, and every moment in between. We're dedicated to providing you with energy now and into the future. All you have to do is dream of what to do with it next.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the Pet Supply Superstore. ClarksPets.com.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Dream style stucco. Stucco is the way to go. The Southwest tradition, beautiful and durable. The perfect combination. Your favorite color, your favorite texture. You're gonna love it when they put it all together. Through any weather, nothing looks better. From the smooth to the rough, they really know their stuff. Nobody does stucco like Dream style stucco. For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number 1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS
sports
logo,
animal.
sign
All right,
up
is it okay
today.
to hoe now?
Lighten up a little bit.
Please, and then we'll get heavy again. Are you gonna hoe or you only hoe when you're on this side? All right, we got to take a break. Get back to the phone. I'm kidding, kind of.
We'll be back.
Grady, thanks for hoeing.
You know, my dog is barking. She's like, what are you doing
What the
out
hell
there?
was that? I thought it was only those idiots coming out of the box that hoe.
Hey, you know, I love the sound of a heavy hoe on a Friday
Who
morning.
doesn't? Just who doesn't? What's going on, man?
You know, I'll start with this. And this is to the, well, you don't do the crime if you can do the time crowd. Up here in the village, it's a pretty rural place. A lot of people hunt up here. And a few years ago, we had a kid wake up late for school, drive his daddy's truck to school with his rifle in the rifle rack in the back of the truck, or in the cab. And we have a zero zero-tolerance policy for weapons. Kid had gone to school here for years, and the rule called for an immediate expulsion because he brought a loaded weapon to school.
Zero tolerance.
And I don't remember anyone, and I know some people may not know this, but Pecos is in New Mexico, and New Mexico is in the United States. I don't remember anyone screaming, he did the crime, he should do the time. So that to me is just cover for, you just don't like her. And
let me back up. I want you to finish. Don't you think she knowingly brought that in? I mean, he obviously didn't know the gun was there, and I'm not telling you this is an offense that should be 10 years, but it's analogous. But I'm struggling a little bit because I think she knew she had it. Don't you think?
Well, if you listen to what she said, as far as she was packing and accidentally put them in there, it sounds like that she knew she had them, just in general, when she had hashish oil, but did she know she packed them? I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. All right, fair enough.
But I agree with the fact that what you're saying, it's a different country, it's their set of rules, etc. My whole point is, people, they have that attitude, and what does Edward say? Situationally. They have that, don't do the crime if you can't do the time, situationally. And I would say this, for every radio host that comes in there and tells you that Brittany Griner hates America because of the way she protested, are those same folks telling you that the people marching in the state capitals with tactical gear and AR-15s waving Confederate flags, are they telling you that those folks hate America too? Because if they're not, then they don't get this whole America thing. And I'll say it like this. And even if a person does hate America, if they're an American citizen, your citizenship and all the rights thereof is not qualified by your love or hate of such. We have lawyers that regularly participate on this program, and some of them are defense lawyers, and I'm sure they've had clients with absolute disrespect and disdain for the law, and they'll tell you, though, that those same people are still afforded the full protections of the laws of this country.
So what? Yeah, what grants you the rights? And being an American, I mean, you're still paying. You're paying taxes, right? You're still. Everybody. It goes back to situational ethics. Decide.
Yeah, well,
what's
I call it
important
situational patriotism.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's fair. And it's one of the things where you have to have a little bit bigger point of view. Loving the country, loving the rules. That also means that there are going to be some people that you just cannot stand that are fully protected and fully vested Americans, just like the ones that you love, just like you are. And that's just how this thing works. Because if we all of a sudden start cherry picking, well, you are good, I like you. You're not good, I don't like you. Then who becomes the arbiter of what's liked and what's not? This thing doesn't work if all of a sudden you're just on your moral high horse and you can pick and choose who's protected and who's not, and who's an American and who's not.
Yeah, I think there's too much of you're American if you believe in the America I believe in.
That's exactly what it is, and people don't quite understand that you're not benefiting anyone from that. People talk about, we got to come together. I mean, do we really have to come together, or do we really have to just understand that there are going to be people who you don't like, who disagree with you, and quite frankly that you can't stand, that are a part of this whole American thing, and that's just part of it. It's a package deal. You got to take the bad with the good, and I would say there are way more good than bad, but it doesn't work if you only try to squeeze out the good, because then all of a sudden, who decides what's good and what's not? So that to me is the biggest travesty of all this. And you know what? Hey, it is what it is. But it drives me crazy when people start talking about who's a better American than so and so, and then they hate this person, but someone that clearly is on the opposite side of the law and rules and regulations, but they love America because you like what they're protesting. I mean, miss me with all this situational patriotism.
That's why we all get our information from people who present the information the way we want to hear it, and we We say yeah when stuff validates our opinion, and we say yeah when stuff devalues the stuff that we're against. And it's unfortunately it's real, because I think, I don't know if she loves our country any more than you or me or anybody else. There's things about a country that she didn't like you, and like everybody listening, there's things about this country that they don't like. And what does love for your country mean? And I mean, that's let's go over to 770 and have that conversation.
I will say this real quickly about the Raiders hire.
Yeah.
I want to get to a day to where it doesn't matter what the person looks like. They can fail miserably, and people like them will still get hired. Because right now, the folks that have been doing this for centuries, they can fail and be miserable and just do horrible jobs, but people like them keep getting hired. So they're not judged that way. So let's afford everyone that freedom to fail.
Yeah, appreciate you, man.
Appreciate the time.
So on that note, and I think also I'd like to get where we hire people where we're not talking about, hey, it's a woman, it's a person of color, it's a and I know you'd like to get there. I don't know if I told you this, Marie. One of my favorite parts of last week's trip to the Carolinas was having a few conversations with Jane Kennedy. And again, I know you guys are younger. You didn't see Jane Kennedy. Jane Kennedy was the first African American woman to be a host on a network television show. She was one of the first women, period, to be a host on a sports show. This was, I guess she started in 1978, and they did a great job there of showing her career, her with Ali and her with Terry Bradshaw, and it really, my daughter, who's 16, finally got, oh wow, okay, they did a great job. But I spent some time with her and her daughter Savannah, and I think we're going to get Jane on this show. Jane was a pioneer, and she was beautiful, and she was a model, and she was so many things. But I said to her, because I believe this, I never, and I hope this is okay, I never thought of Jane Kennedy as she's such a good black female host. I just always thought she was talented. I always thought of her as really good on television. I thought she was a really good host. I thought she was a really good interviewer. I thought she was a good personality. And I said, I hope I'm not offending you when I tell you, I know you're being honored for innovation and being a pioneer. I guess when I was a kid, the way I was brought up in 1970s, I was never of that mindset. Wow, she's breaking these barriers. I wasn't that aware. I just thought she was good, and she's like, "You're going to bring me to tears." Like, that means so much to me. And I said it at the risk of offending her. Well, it goes back to what Grady just said. Is, can we get to a point where, and maybe we will. I think we've gotten to that point in some things. Like, remember, there's X number of African American coaches. Well, I don't think we talk every time a black coach gets hired now. We say, well, this is a big hire, right? I think we've crossed some of those barriers. We've gotten to some of those thresholds. But it kind of goes along with what he's saying. I think it takes time to get beyond some of that. Like, we don't talk about, well, there's a black anchor on television anymore. I mean, we expect it and accept it.
And just like we're talking about the Raiders' new president, I think that's just going to become more normal, and we'll hear less about it.
Yeah, I think when you always hit the first one, Jackie Robinson, there was so much made about it. Now, does anybody bat an eye when a black player gets drafted, or right? So does that make sense though? Yeah. What I said to her, like, honestly, you guys, I said it, and there was a kind of a weird little comfort. I just met her, but at the risk, I said, I don't want to offend you. And but that's how I always felt. And maybe because that's how I was brought up. But
probably had a lot to do with how you're brought up.
That's what people want. Is exactly what you said. I was looking at you at the broadcaster, nothing else.
Yeah.
Nothing came to mind.
And I was just a kid, just kind of enthralled with the business. I'm like, wow, she's really good. Like, the way she interviews, like the way she interacts with Ali, the way she gets along with Terry Bradshaw, I thought she was great. I thought she was really good back in the day, not as a black woman, but as someone on my TV that I'm like, wow, that's kind of what I want to get into. So, all right, 505-246-0610. We'll open this thing wide open. I'll update you on what's going on at Wimbledon. The gentlemen's semifinal is underway. JJ, you had a couple of the top picks of the NBA draft going at each other last night in Summer League. I want you to get into that.
Madness.
Yeah, I didn't catch it, but I know you did, and I want to get into that. 505-246-0610. Emails Jeff or JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. Glad you're with us this morning. Thanks for remembering you listened to the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
The Jim Rome Show.
Obscenities. Mexico's best.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For certified collision and body repair, visit the experts at CarCrafters. 5 locations in Albuquerque and Rio Rancho. Visit carcrafters.com.
CarCrafters, it's like it never happened.
The energy landscape is limitless and ever-changing. Cleaner energy resources are crucial to New Mexico's environment. For 100 years, PNM has utilized cutting-edge technology and employed hard-working New Mexicans to ensure that we have consistent, reliable energy when we need it. For life's loudest moments, quietest moments, and every moment in between. We're dedicated to providing you with energy now and into the future. All you have to do is dream of what to do with it next.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the Pet Supply Superstore. ClarksPets.com.
Dream style stucco. Stucco is the way to go. The Southwest tradition, beautiful and durable. The perfect combination. Your favorite color, your favorite texture. You're gonna love it when they put it all together. Through any weather, nothing looks better. From the smooth to the rough, they really know their stuff. Nobody does stucco like Dream style stucco.
Cameron Norrie, Great Britain, up against Novak Djokovic. Norrie won the first set 6-2. Ooh. Joker came back and won the second set 6-3. They're getting ready to start the third. Interesting watch. I'm telling you, Wimbledon has been it's been fantastic. And I kind of didn't realize, JJ, or forgot maybe how much I really enjoyed it. Like watching tennis at that level. First of all, it's so fast and they're so strong and they're so athletic. But really enjoyed that. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. All right, last night, Summer League. Orlando's Paolo Banchero. Houston's Jabari Smith head-to-head in the Summer League.
Those are the headline names. I was most impressed with the Detroit Pistons, Jeff. I think they hit 2 home runs in the lottery, getting Jaden Ivey, should have been the 4th overall pick. The Kings messed that up again. And Jalen Duran, the freshman center from Memphis. Duran, who his head coach, Dwayne Casey's pretty good.
I agree with that.
When close to winning a champion. He was the Mark Jackson, I should say. He kind of got Toronto there. Then Nick Nurse came in and won the championship. But he developed the core of that team.
No doubt.
Fred VanVleet,
No doubt.
Pascal Siakam. Dwayne Casey is saying Jalen Duran has Sean Kemp-like athleticism.
Really?
And that is a massive comparison to put on that dude in the first game of Summer League. But I was very impressed with those players because they're playing like competition right now. Even the one-and-done guys, they're playing first, second-year dudes, not a lot of older players. So it's still similar to what they've seen at a lot of levels. But there's little things that you can jump out to you, whether you're watching a high school football game, a college game, or a summer league game. It's little traits that you say, oh, I see a ceiling here. I see why that makes sense. And Jaden Ivey and Jalen Duran were my highlights of just night 1 of Vegas Summer League that got started last night.
You know what you just saying Sean Kemp reminds me of? You know what it reminds me of? It's like the best sports song ever done by a legit band.
Welcome to the game, ladies and gentlemen, shout the name. Seattle Supersonics, they're basketball bionics. And Gary Payton was on, and Wadford was Sean.
So good. All right, 505-246-0610. It's so good.
It's the best sport.
Period.
Team-specific song there is.
Better than Ram It?
Yes.
It's better than Ram It.
Oh, it's just good.
But Ram It's so good.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
It's perfect.
Two things can be good.
Grunge, Seattle, early 90s vibe.
They're so good, and the team was so good. Peyton and Schrempf and Rain Man and Big Smooth. Nothing but net. Big Smooth. Howie, how you living, speaking of Big Smooth?
Sean Kemp, man, what a beast. And never mentioned when we're discussing the greats in the NBA, huh?
Well, I don't know if he's one of the greats, but he was fantastic in that era. He was one of the greats of that era. He was. Yeah. No, he was a beast, a physical specimen. So talented. Didn't he have like 35 kids somewhere? Any one of those guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know we're trying to kind of liven it up in a little bit, but my heart goes out to Brittany Griner. Win, lose, or draw, whatever she did, knowingly, unknowingly, it's not for me to judge or decide. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. She's stuck over there, and her beliefs are her beliefs as an American. She's born an American, and if she believes that the national anthem shouldn't be played, well, that's her opinion. That's her belief. Me, any major, any sporting event, I still get chills when they play the national anthem or God Bless America. I still get chills. So, I think that's a staple. I don't believe we should ever have a sporting event without it. And through all this with Brittany Griner, nobody's mentioned much of Paul Whelan, who's been there since 2018.
Well,
I don't know. Espionage charges, are they real? Are they not? I mean, the Russians basically have a free hand to do whatever they want over there, correct?
Well, and then that's what, Paul Whelan's family has come to light in this and been interviewed on certain outlets. I mean, some of it's all been Brittany Griner and some have brought Paul Whelan. And again, you're right. He's been there since 2018, being held, our country says, being held wrongfully. And so is this a prisoner swap for Paul Whelan and Brittany Griner for this terrorist who, is a pretty bad dude by every account? And maybe it is, and that's how these things work, and how do you feel about it? And I mean, but Paul Whelan should get home too, right? Paul Whelan isn't a well-known athlete, and so Paul Whelan doesn't seem to matter as much, except to Paul Whelan's family. And Paul Whelan's an American citizen who, from the information I've heard and read, he's being held wrongfully, or our country believes so. Let's get him out too. This isn't a process of which I'm intimately knowledgeable. Is it worth it? I don't know. It almost sounds like a trade in the NBA. We're trading salaries. Are you getting what you want for Durant? Are you getting what it's worth? All I know is let's get our people home, whether it's Paul Whelan or Brittany Griner. If I'm an American, she didn't stand for the anthem. You don't have to like that, but she's an American citizen. Let's get them home.
Agreed. And whether Paul Whelan is being rightfully charged with espionage or not, I mean, if he was committing espionage, well, I imagine he went in with his eyes wide open. And if Brittany Griner was carrying a vial with cannabis oil in it, I imagine she knew she was. Unfortunately, somehow or another, we have a feeling of invincibility as Americans. And as you guys stated yesterday, and JJ said it a couple of times, that just doesn't, it just doesn't happen in a foreign country. It's not, you're not comparing apples to apples. You go into somebody else's backyard and you've got to abide by their rules, and it's sad what's going on with them. And, I hope it comes to an end. And while I am not a fan of our president at all, I think he's in a no-win situation. I don't know what he can do to make this better, and I certainly don't know what he can say to make it better. I would not want to have this on my plate. And, God bless him. I'm not a fan of his, but I wish him luck with his decision.
It's a hard job.
And hopefully it's a very hard job, and I would never trade places. I'm going to touch base on one last thing. We're talking about genders and races and hirees and pro sports. And, I don't know in our lifetime that we'll ever get to a point where these things are not discussed when hires take place, because we're still going by, owners are still old, rich white men with ideals that are so antiquated, it's sad. So every time a hiree of gender or race occurs, we have to try to make note of it to try to indicate our progress, in the sport. But until a generation or two go by, I don't know that we'll ever get beyond bringing that up. It's kind of sad. I wish we could get to a point where it's just, this was the best person for the job, and that's why he or she got hired. Hey, guys, have a great weekend.
See you, Howard. Appreciate you. All right, let's take the final break of the work week, and we'll come back. You can, if you want to respond to that, you can. Check and see if I got any more correspondence on that. And I'll let you know what's going on, update you at Wimbledon and everything that's going on, get you ready for the weekend. On the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This is Boomer. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For certified collision and body repair, visit the experts at CarCrafters. 5 locations in Albuquerque and Rio Rancho. Visit carcrafters.com.
CarCrafters, it's like it never happened.
The energy landscape is limitless and ever-changing. Cleaner energy resources are crucial to New Mexico's environment. For 100 years, PNM has utilized cutting-edge technology and employed hard-working New Mexicans to ensure that we have consistent, reliable energy when we need it. For life's loudest moments, quietest moments, and every moment in between. We're dedicated to providing you with energy now and into the future. All you have to do is dream of what to do with it next.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the Pet Supply Superstore. ClarksPets.com.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Dream style stucco. Stucco is the way to go. The Southwest tradition, beautiful and durable. The perfect combination. Your favorite color, your favorite texture. You're gonna love it when they put it all together. Through any weather, nothing looks better. From the smooth to the rough, they really know their stuff. Nobody does stucco like Dream Style Stucco. For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Everguard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please
Next
call
week you'll have the
5-
Open Championship. We'll be a week away from TBT. Did get an email on the TBT. Ron wants to know, will Aggie fans travel north to see Keith McCants one final time and a mix of alumni they'll never see play together again? My guess, Jeff, is that they don't support anything else, so why would they go to this? Well, Ron, there's a lot of Aggie alums up in this county that don't have to travel. I don't know that you'll get a lot of people travel from Cruces, although maybe a few. But I think the Aggie alumni in Bernalillo County will go out. Ron also says, Wimbledon been that great, Jeffy? Or it seems better because everything else recently, golf, NBA tournament, Triple Crown, has been so bad. I don't know. Whatever. It's been.
Did you see the private jet that the top live golfers get to travel on?
You told me about it. I haven't seen it yet.
It's on the social medias. It's popping up this morning, so if you'll be able to find it. It looks unreal. It does not look like an airplane. It looks like an airplane you see in movies. Like the Kingsman Golden Circle one they're traveling on, and they got the bar in there and the table set up and like a pool table.
Is this when you told me the PGA Tour is dead?
Yes. I'm like, well, if you have to compete with a private plane that looks like that to travel the golfers on, you don't got much of a chance.
All right, 505-246-0610. Hello, David.
A couple of things. Race relations in sports are kind of going back from the Arthur Ashe to the Muhammad Ali to the Tiger Woods to the Serena and Venus Williams. Ultimately, how much of those were marquee accomplishments because they were the first and prominent in their field? And ultimately, I'm thinking of that guy who was the first black quarterback. He never worked as a quarterback in the NFL. He was in the paper recently, and ultimately he was turned into a wide receiver. He was thought to never really get a chance. In fact, at the Pittsburgh Steelers, before Bradshaw went to Pittsburgh, there was a guy who ultimately ended up on Skid Row. He was arguably much, much, much better than Terry Bradshaw. And the kicker is he was never really picked up as whatever because he wasn't thought to be that capable. In which case, what I'm getting to is I think it's capable to notice somebody's gender, race, whatever, but not hold them against them on the idea that it's discriminatory. And I think you're missing the point, or people would be missing the point if they say, oh, we can't notice this, like the beautiful model that turns anchor, to say that you don't notice that she's black or beautiful or a woman. And I'm like, how could you not? I mean,
well, there's a difference between
is,
not noticing her and that's not how I remember why I think she was prominent. Like I was a kid and watching TV and I was just like, wow, she was really good. The first thing that came to my mind wasn't, wow, she's really good for a black woman. Like that's not what I thought.
And there was a beauty pageant woman who ultimately got her title pulled because she was in the Penthouse magazine, meaning ultimately, like, the parallel now is everybody says that there's exclusivity, we own your rights, ultimately name, image, and likeness. Kind of what I'm getting to is if you're the standout player that has the personality or the whatever, and ultimately like the Tiger Woods, you can ultimately capture all that attention. I think it would be the novelty because you're the minority, the Venus Williams, the Serena Williams, the Tiger Woods. But more particularly, the reason I'm calling is Russia is an autocratic, whatever, dictator, whatever the political science thing. Right. I think it would be interesting to ultimately get beyond the Colin Kaepernick that ironically has missed out on this woman being compared to, because I think she's getting too much favorable treatment because she's female. Compare Colin Kaepernick with her. Colin Kaepernick got colluded by the NFL, and okay, he's bad for America because he criticized the flag. She's a victimized woman, so she gets this kind of treatment. I think a prisoner swap would be great for this female. The guy who was ultimately the two people, the mercenaries that were up for murder charges, fighting for Ukraine, and then captured by Russia in
in
Ukraine.
Right, they were fighting. They're now they're prisoners of war,
and they're basically up for murder charges, which ultimately. Talk about her being in jail for 10 years. They're up for murder charges.
That's right. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. But, yeah. All right, man, that's interesting, and it's good food for thought, David. Appreciate it. Enjoy the weekend. It's – do you compare the prisoners of war who were fighting in the war against Russia? I mean, would you like to get them home too? Yeah. I think they're going to be held a little bit differently than somebody who had 2 vapes or 3, 4 a vape pen of hashish oil, as opposed to somebody who was fighting against their country in war and is now on murder charges because they see things the way they see things, right? There's a parallel, but I don't know that they're analogous. Fair?
Yes.
All right. Do you think it's different? Do you think that Brittany Griner got a break because she's a? What do you suggest, that she's a woman? And you
that's
look at
outrageous.
Colin
Dude,
Kaepernick?
she's in a Russian jail. Kaepernick got a raw deal, but he's not in a Russian jail. There's no comparison between the two. You cannot. I think he's trying to get at, well, people don't like them for their stances. Okay. Kaepernick was never in a Russian jail. So what does he have to do with this conversation?
Got it. I don't. Yeah. All right, 505-246-0610. We are in the third set in the gentlemen's semifinal. Wimbledon, Novak Djokovic and Cameron Norrie. Norrie won the first set 6-2. Djokovic won the second set 6-3, and it's 2-1 Djokovic, who has already broken serve in the third set. So he's a break up, and Djokovic looks like he's now establishing control as you go through Wimbledon. All right, what are you looking forward to this weekend, besides listening to Presidents of the United States of America play Supersonics?
Seattle Supersonics.
I did look at the
basketball bionic.
That plane does look like a club. Like they're in the air, and it's just like there's so the seats are
How does
insane.
that fly?
And there's a bar and a club, and there's Pat Perez just dancing around the middle, and there's the players and their women and their caddies and they're just it's a flying bar. It's a flying club.
Flying nightclub.
Yeah, it is a flying nightclub.
The PGA Tour is like, hey, Ryan Palmer,
we got
your golf clubs in the back of your.
We got a rental car.
Drive 7 hours to your next event. Good luck.
I'm playing a qualifier on Monday to see if you can get in, to try to have a chance to make money. Now
it's a different world.
Everybody can't play on that tour.
That's the thing.
But everybody who is someone who wants to can probably play on that tour, right? When's their next event? Do you even know?
When does Pat Perez get squeezed out? When he's like, uh-oh.
Pat Perez got a $10 million. Does he care? Like Pat Perez made a $10 million signing bonus. Pat Perez can live pretty well on that and whatever for the rest of his life. Yeah, to come on over and play.
Money in the bank.
Plus, wherever he finished last week, he made money. Oh, by the way, he was dragged on the winning team, so his team made money. So he's already $11-12 million up.
I believe that they're going to get most of the marquee players at some point.
You think they're going to get most of them? So you think
to dabble? If they keep handing out signing bonuses, absolutely. Because even if it goes kaput, there's still $10 million in your bank account.
So if I say,
and then the PGA Tour is not going to exclude everyone forever because that's bad for their brand. never welcome these guys back.
Well, all right. So if these guys want to play, it kind of defeats their whole mantra of play less, make more, right? I'm making more money. I'm playing 8 tournaments a year, but I want to play in the majors. Okay. So now you're playing 12 tournaments a year, but I want to play on tour. Well, how many do you want to play? You just want to play 1 or 2, or you want to play, should there be a minimum? Oh, well, I'll play 6. So now I'm playing 14. No, 8 and 4 is 12 plus another. Now I'm playing 16. You're kind of losing your argument. Well, I only have to play 8 weeks a year and I'm making more money. That's kind of a bunch of crap now, isn't it? Like, why? Tell me why they want to play on the PGA Tour now. You're seeing how they're flying. Tell me why. And what's their point? You're Dustin Johnson. You got a reported $125 million signing bonus. You're going over there playing for more money. Why do you want to play on tour? For a measly $1.6 million if you win.
Measly.
Right? Why? Oh, and you got to drive yourself there, and they don't have a plane to get you there, and you got to pay your own caddy's fees, and you got to pay for your lodging? Why? What's the issue? Tell me why they want to play there then. Just because they want to be able to say, I didn't get thrown out?
Probably an element of that.
I mean, everything I'm hearing is, well, no, what? I got more time with my family now. I'm playing less, and I'm making more, and I like the shotgun starts, and I like the 3-day tournament. Then why the hell do you want to go back and play? So why do you want to go? What's the issue? Is it access to the majors? Is that the reason? Just tell the majors to open it up and count those as world golf points, and let them play in the freaking majors. But why do we care? Like, if you're telling me how much better it is over there, and you're flying on a flying nightclub, and like, so why do you care? I'm missing the whole point, I guess. I understand why you're going over there. I understand you're making money. Then why do you want to play in the John Deere? Do you love Pebble Beach so much you can go play at Pebble Beach whenever you want? Like, do you want to play at Torrey Pines? Is that kind of what it is? Well, it's nostalgic, and I really like those. Why? I mean, for you should have to pay your own way. You have to pay your caddy. You have to. You don't get your live cruiser or your flying nightclub. What? You're gonna have to fly on your own jet. I guess it could be your own little nightclub. I guess I started thinking about that the other day, man. I just, is it because is it principle? You can't break up with me. I'm breaking up with you. Is that kind of what it is?
There's an element of that, I bet.
All right.
Just trying to hold on. How dare you tell me what I can or cannot do? PGA Tour.
I think that's a big part of it. All right, interesting week. Short, interesting week. I'll be out at Blake's Lotaburger on the west side. Where am I going? On what road? I'm on Paradise tomorrow?
Paradise and Universe.
Oh, wow. I thought those were in parallel, no?
Yeah.
I'll find it.
Happy
I'll be
Friday.
there 4 to 6 tomorrow. They got like 70th anniversary cake shake or something. Jim Rome show is next. The Herd with Colin Cowards after that. 2 Men On come your way at 4. Topes are in Round Rock tonight.
Let's go, Topes.
Good 2-day work week by you. Solid. You put in a solid effort. Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming back. You performing this weekend?
No, but I will be betting on Vegas Summer League.
All right. You degenerate. Adrian, great work as always. Big weekend for you?
Huge weekend.
Enjoy it. We'll be back with award-winning radio on Monday morning starting at 7 a.m. Have a great, safe weekend. Be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll smell you tomorrow.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep the facility.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
For certified collision and body repair, visit the experts at CarCrafters. 5 locations in Albuquerque and Rio Rancho. Visit carcrafters.com.
It's like it never happened.
The energy landscape is limitless and ever-changing. Cleaner energy resources are crucial to New Mexico's environment. For 100 years, PNM has utilized cutting-edge technology and employed hard-working New Mexicans to ensure that we have consistent, reliable energy when we need it. For life's loudest moments, quietest moments, and every moment in between. We're dedicated to providing you with energy now and into the future. All you have to do is dream of what to do with it next.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the pet supply superstore. ClarksPets.com.